Hello everyone. Alright, done with all the audio stuff. Let me know if it's like too loud or not loud enough, or I don't know. I think usually people say the stream is loud, but then I need to hear it, so maybe I'm gonna increase my own volume. That probably would help, because I think this volume down here doesn't affect you guys, but then the volume here affects you guys. In the meantime, watch them make Herrscher Rebirth. Hello everyone, hello! Hello Irmis, Vic2XM, Aid, Sympath Tonality, Gaming with Prince, Gustav Finality, Sirin 7, Elizabeth 1233, and Duck. Oh wow! I wonder if this is commissioned. Uploader is right up here, so... Such talent. Insane. Damn. Imagine having that kind of talent. Couldn't be me. Hello guys, hello Nak, Totem, Zarkon. Okay, alright, done with all my stuff on the back end. I mean, so far we're just waiting for the, stream to start, which, it'll start in like 4 minutes. What's my opinion on the current story? I like it, honestly, but I think it feels more like a transition phase. Although, I was kind of afraid that it would be kind of like a cop-out, like, oh, not much essence, you know, because the main story is over, and a lot of games suffer from that. But I think the main story now is still, I'm still interested. I think they are not, it's not too bad. I do think a lot of people have issues with the, dialogue, is what I've been hearing, which admittedly it used to be a lot more concise. But I think it's still like in essence like Honkai Impact, so it's not that bad yet. Yet. I've heard there was reshuffling of like the writing team, and that could be a cause of some of the changes that we are seeing to the story. But in, you know, other than that, I think it's mostly okay. Chapter 40 Fuwa arc, say less. Oh, I've seen like, I guess they kind of like revamped her fighting style a little bit. It's not like a new battlesuit, but they have put in like new moves for the old battlesuits. Of course, I haven't seen like any story stuff, but like in terms of gameplay, that's what they're doing, which is kind of cool. People have issue with dialogue in a story-driven game. I mean, see, Honkai is in like a middle ground, right? Because I think Honkai is also driven very much by its gameplay, which is not what... I mean, I wish I could say that for the other two games. Jury's still out on Star Rail, but like, I, in my personal opinion, I don't really think Genshin is that much of a gameplay-driven game. Or rather, I would say... its gameplay is more of exploration, and that's not like my cup of tea. I'm looking for more action, and so Honkai is definitely, you know, that in between of like, it is very heavily story driven, and that's not wrong, but also it is also very heavily like action gameplay driven. And for the most part, it's always been known to be really concise and getting the point across. And so, you know, dropping to that, like, oh, saying 5 lines to make, you know, to say what, like, 1 line could have, you know, using 5 lines to bring across the message of what 1 line could have brought across is definitely going to be an issue with players, especially people who have been used to, like, quote-unquote concise or good writing. So, yeah. People have issues with reading since TikTok. No! The current writer is the same person that wrote Color Stern and Chapter 31EX to Chapter 35. I think 31EX was good though. I like 31EX a lot. I don't know if it's like... I mean, it is the current writer, right? But like, what about the team? Oh. But yeah. It's either like direction or maybe the writer just changed their own style and, you know, we have to get used to it. I for the most part don't really have too much of an issue with it. But then again, I kind of like fast read now. I've been doing like some extra stuff. I guess officially I've kind of been like on a hiatus for the channel, so coming back soon. But yeah, okay, stream starting.
各位舰长们晚上好。 欢迎来到我们崩坏3 6.9 版本才梦启明的前瞻特别节目，我是主持人露露。
Why does he choose the name Lulu?
晚上好，我是 IP 帆船，很高兴再次参加。
帆船，
好像连着参加很多。
They have really funny names.
那舰长们可能会发现我们这次多了2位新面孔哈，那就有请我们的新成员先来介绍一下自己吧，请嘉宾先来吧。
舰长们晚上好，我是战斗策划红楼。
那么我们也是
battle designer.
那么在下半场，红楼老师也会给我们
I don't think we've seen him before.
方面的一些幕后小趣事。
Oh, he'll also share details on monster design. Okay.
那么我呢是这次的新晋主持人
山高。
那么山高老师其实也是我们
Host
项目组的同学啊，然后他负责的是运营相关的一些工作。 是的，崩坏3的运营分类其实是很细的，比如说线上版本质量的把控、测试服、玩家、社区、数据等等，说的有点像招聘现场。我所在的小组呢是会参与游戏内各项内容的体验，并且去进行一个整体的把关，每天都在跟策划友好交流。
Oh, it's kind of like he's in charge of kind of like user experience.
快上之前，你们搬个小板凳往上一坐，然后就说哎。 这个玩不懂，那个叫简化一下。
好了，打住啊！再说下去就不礼貌了。那咱们也聊了这么久了，相信舰长。
You went off complaining about how people are complaining about stuff.
快进入版本 PV， 一睹为快吧。
Relatable. Okay, 6.9 PV.
弗洛斯的管理者，我们还是第一次见到外面来的人呢。这是一座因为流星而诞生的城市。
Oh, it's a city made from a star.
不过一场可怕的天灾。
But thanks to a catastrophe, I didn't hear that. It transformed, I think is what I heard. Sorry, sound effect.
睡在梦中的星星啊。 请倾听我的愿望。
哦。
光芒绽放。接下来是魔法少女的时间。看好了。喂，别躲。
Wow, they did so much better with the soundtrack for 6.9 than I thought they would. Damn, good job. It was pretty short. I thought it was short too.
在想什么呢？让我猜猜。哦，想要更多亮晶晶的东西。
What are you thinking of? Let me
不
guess.
是万能的。
Oh, you want more shiny stuff? And then she's like, oh, I can't, I'm not omnipotent. What?
哎，看到了我们熟悉的雾
哇
灯
just
信宇装甲，
disintegrated.
难道说
Oh my
福华这次
god
要重操旧业，当起福尔摩斯了？难道还会出现莫里亚蒂？
哎，而且我还在 PV 里面看到很多这个小维塔哈，福华都被这个小维塔给包围起来了。
好，
We're
既然都
surrounded
说到
by
这儿了
little
我们就
vidas
来先简短的预告一下主线剧情。6.9的主线剧情可以概括为福华和7个小维塔。
福华
哎
and
这7个
7
小维塔哪
small
来的呢对
vidas
吧？我们刚刚含泪送走了我们的维塔老婆，哎，怎么又来7个小维塔呢？
你这含泪
We just introduced the Vida waifu. Why do we have 7 little vidas now?
哈，禁止发癫。啊，那接下来我们还是让这个帆船老师再多透露一点信息吧。
好的。从6.9版本开始，我们1.5
look at
部
that
主线的故事也进入了下半程。哎，正如我们上半程重点其实讲了关于2个希尔的故事，那么1.5的下半程将会围绕
So we're in the
福华
second
和
half.
维塔来展开。哎，
So
这里
first
主要
half
说的
was
是我们的小维
focused
塔。
on the 2 Zillies, and in the second half we're focusing on Fuhua
好
and
吧，那
Vida.
我再说点，和
Or the
大维
seven
塔
Vidas
或者梭不一样。哎，我们7个小维塔都是善良纯洁的好孩子，都是福华的好伙伴。
They're all
他们
kind.
是异形的红维
little
塔、
kids
蕴蓄的橙维塔、本相的黄维塔、绿形的绿维塔、和光的青维塔、先觉的蓝维
Wait,
塔、
is
乔
is
协
this
的
like
紫维
Snow
塔、
White and the 7
赤橙黄
Dwarfs?
绿青蓝紫。哎，
听起来像
Dwarves?
什么新的
Dwarfs?
特摄
I
战
was
队
I don't know. Is it
但是看完
dwarves
之后
or
我发现一个问题，那
dwarfs?
福华的拳头
Dwarves
燃起火焰之后，下一幕它就没了，
哎，怎么回事呢？
哎，很危险。
不要害怕，我们肯定还是个轻喜剧啊。这个彩蛋其实也不是40章的内容，更多内容就敬请期待1.5下半部的故事吧。我们会逐步透露，哎，这件事到底是怎么回事。
We reveal more
Sure.
details along the
老师
way.
又开始卖关子了是吧？
经典卖关子。
我们还是把注意力转回到我们这个版本的角色上吧。
行，那我们先
Let's
绕
bring
开
our
一次
focus
哎
back
我们来
to
看
the
回我们
character
群里的一
of
个老朋友
this
西林
version.
看到魔法阵跟变身，我的 DNA 直接就动了。
看似是老朋友，其实来自另一个世界炮。我们
It's
新
an
的打开
old
方式
friend, but
魔
comes
法
from
少
another
女西林。
bubble
有
universe.
请红楼老师跟
Magical
范老师再
girl
为
Sirin
详细介绍一下。
哎，好的好的啊，本次时的全新 S 级装甲奇迹啊
New
魔法
S
少女
ranked
是
mech
机械
fire.
属性啊，火
DPS
焰元素输出角色啊，使用的武器类型呢是环刃啊，就是这大家万能的环刃啊。对，在战斗
The
中呢，它
omnipotent
能将环刃
chakram
剪刀啊进行攻击，咔嚓，哎，咔嚓咔嚓，哎，
Which
期
is
间
turned
呢还可
into
以
a
进入
pair of scissors.
回复坚定星星，当坚定星星充足时，它便能进入蓄力形态。啊，大幅减少自身受到的伤害啊，并且获得一个霸体的状态。根据查案攻击键的时间不同呢，西林能够释放出不同的蓄力攻击，对敌人造成火焰伤害。
哎，此外，西林还可以释放出不同的武器连携技能，这些技能
So she
在
has
造成
different
火焰伤害的同时，
combo
也会
attacks
为命中的敌人
depending
附加
on your
点燃
charge
积蓄值。西林入场时自动进入增益状态，在这一状态下，它将使得可附加的点燃层数额外提高，最终带给敌人更强的火焰元素伤害。
哎，当西林开启必杀技后，
So
将
she
展开幻境
basically
领域啊，使敌人受困于境中，然后他会拿起剪刀从容一剪，咔啊，令幻境破碎，领域内的敌人将受到火焰元素伤害。
听下来是一个非常灵动
So
又
you're
高
giving
效
us
的战斗姿态。
the skill
感兴趣的
descriptions
舰
that you're
长千
seeing
万
on
不要错
screen,
过我
but
们可爱的西
basically
林
she
没错
is able
那在
to
6.9版本
apply
更新后
more
舰长可
than
以
the
通过
capped
扩充
amount
补给
of stacks of
获取奇
ignite
迹魔法少女角色卡。
and
此
deal
外
additional
舰长
damage
还可以
based on
使
the
用远
ignite
古传
stacks.
承远
So
古
she
遗
is
址兑换奇迹魔
purchasable
法少
in
女
the
角色卡
war
与
treasury,
奇迹魔法少
and
女
you
的
can
角色碎
also
片
continue to
那么尽
purchase
早
her
下手
fragments.
还可以享受这个限时折扣哦。
你要不要猜猜我的远古传承跟远古遗址攒了多少？3000多，3000
哇，还得
哎
干呢。，
厉害厉害。
Also, it is a
那么
discounted
在
price.
6.9版本更新后，西林角色的全新武器裁梦者、超限武器裁梦白夜星芒也会同步时装。6.9版本更新
Weapons
后，
will be
舰
in
长可以
the
通过
gacha
消耗精准补给卡获取50次补给内必定可以获得推荐武器裁梦者。
Okay, so he
另
was
外
just
西
explaining
林
the
新角色的
gacha
推荐射痕套装叫
banner
细碎时光，哎，和名字一样，描绘的是魔法少女西林和她前辈们的日常情景。
Oh,
哇，这
They're
个
magical
少女气息
girl
已经扑面
senpai.
而来了哈。那么这套
I guess
圣
the
痕
ones we
讲述
saw
的
from the
应该
side
也是一
story
个温馨愉
that
快
she
的故事吧？
那当然了呀。
崩坏3的温馨愉快，大家要打个问号。
我们最近骗过人吗？
Honkai Impact's happily ever afters. Everyone has to put a question mark on it.
除了通过补给渠道获取之外，舰长们还可以在悬赏锻造界面通过生变。
So it is a G4. You can upgrade it from
说
Ravenhook
完了全新的角
upwards
色，大家对于
into
新版本的期待应该已经拉满了
Captain verse
不知道
story.
帆船老师能不能再介绍一下主线玩法相
Oh,
关的内容？
anything that's not in the main story, I
在
always say
主线
side
40章
event. I don't care if it's
7
Captain
场
verse or not.
舰长将跟随浮华的脚步，在一座名为
But yeah,
弗
you're
洛斯
right.
的陌
It's
生
its
城
own
邦中
story.
开启
Anyway.
全新的冒险。
那也就是说，在这一次的版本中，我们会一路与浮华并肩作战。啊，那真的是浮华出狂喜呀！
对的，我们之前一直在开玩笑说，这次的活动叫集五福活动。
啊，那5日直接过年了呀！
对啊，
有个浮华全家桶，然后可以获得一个
Oh,
5的
it's
buff。
we're coming to the new year. They're like, oh,
我觉得
we're
你们都帮我说
you're
完
you're
了
just gonna have like a Fuhua event all the way through the new
一定要
year.
扣钱。好了，那么让我来正式介绍一下，在这次版本中，舰长将可以使用3种不同伤害类型的装甲形态，分别是白夜执事、巫毒迅
Okay,
雨
so
和
it's
赤灵。
they're
其中赤灵和巫毒迅雨也可以分
categorized
别
by
切
their
换成
damage
雨墨丹
type,
心和隐
fire,
士热冷
physical,
装甲。
and lightning.
那么这次主线中呢，我们对这个浮华的装甲的操作其实做了很多的简化的，因为玩家可能也知道嘛，就是先前的浮华各有各的一个错招，对吧？
They've
然
done
后我们这次还设置了一
modifications
些
to
辅
the
助玩家去
battlesuits.
跑图的技能，可以让舰长们更加轻松的去进行一个战斗和探索。当然，特别熟悉我们浮华角色的舰长也可以使用原先的这个错招表，继续去释放他们原先的技能。
反正不经过 BBA 的这个洗礼，也可以爽快搓招，我是已经泪目了。
我知道了，你喜欢阿波尼亚。
I know you're a fan of Aponia. So they said they've done some modifications to increase battle efficiency and control from the player.
属于 QTE 技能，可以通过切换装甲形态触发，当1星值回复至100%时，即可释放1星技能，短时间内大幅提升战斗能力。
Oh, so this is something like the white heat from
都有自己
APHO2.
独特的探索技能，可以帮助舰长们快速寻找主
So
线
there's
中
an
的关键线索。
investigation
举个例子来说，雾都迅雨的探索技能能标
Okay,
记附近隐藏的
investigation
线索
mode
和可交互物，快
to
速锁
find
定线索的位置。哎，就跟那个什么什么
clues
誓言，你
懂的都懂。
这次浮华装甲的这个机制设计啊，可以说是为了方便舰长们畅玩，极具巧思了哈。那么也非常期待大家体验之后的这个反馈。
那么当然，新的版本肯定也少不了丰厚的活动奖励。本次呢，通过完成主线任务，我们可以积攒活动专属的橙味糖果，用于兑换我们的活动圣痕、Bronia 备份夏以及水晶、远古遗志，还有时序通行证等奖励。
Okay, so
那
to
么
stay
我
again
们的
what
这
they
个
showed.
传统异能哈，夏日主题活动还在继续
来了。
活动已经来到了第2期，魔法少女的精彩故事还在继续。更
Okay,
大的计划也已经
continuation of the
浮出了水面
magical
那么
girl
所有的线索
storyline.
都指向了代号为月下的德丽莎。那么这位德丽莎又会有怎么样的故事呢？就有待舰长们持续关注当红月落幕之后的活动剧情啦。
哎，就像这个活动标题预示的这样，这个活动可
Yeah,
以
this
说
thing
是
is
舰长线的
story
最终高潮，
story
也就是
reward.
结局篇，大家敬请期待。
大结局，我等了好多年。
Oh, it's the conclusion.
本次除了精彩剧情之外，这次活动也为舰长们准备了一个有趣的 Q 版地图，量大管饱。
Maybe to the entire Captain verse.
角色在不同的
Because
地
he
图中
said,
展开冒险在探索的过程中，会遇
big
到巡
ending.
逻的敌人。
I've been
舰长可以
waiting
选
many,
择
many
用地
years.
形去绕过敌人，也可以直接，对吧？正面对刚去进行一个回合制的自动战斗。
Oh,
此外呢，地图中还置入了其他的探索机制。
whoa, that is
舰
wild.
长可以在提升冒险等级。
I thought they go into battle, but they're straight up fighting on the screen. Holy
比
crap.
如说无声解脱这个技能，可以让舰长在不被敌人发现的情况下直接消灭它。
另外
Stealth
在
kill,
地图
okay.
中我们也设置了一些趣味挑战，比如某些任务中需要舰长悄悄跟在居民们的身后，
Stealth
直到抵
sneaking.
达终点。每张地图对应的玩法不同，就有待舰长自己
Every
探索
map
了。
is going to have a
随
different
着
play
不断探
style.
索，舰长可以在地图各个角落发现宝箱，打开之后可以获得商店代币。除此之外，还有散落的月下记忆碎片。
So you can find chests in all these maps, and they will contain rewards that would either be used as currency or straight up rewards. I guess like
如果大
Astra
家
and
在
stuff.
探索过程中迷失了方向，可以打开界面右上角的地图来查看。
So
而
there's
且
going to be a
通
map
过完成每日
for
关
you
卡，可以
to
获取冒险
navigate.
等级的养成材料， 提高角色战斗力，应对更强大的敌人。
So you can
每张地图
gather
对应的玩法也
ingredients
不一样，比如在
that
第一
will be
个
used
世界
to
的每日
I
关卡
guess
中，
augment
舰
is a
长需要
sensitive
避开
word.
爆炸计划，并在规定时间
power
内
up your
收集
characters
足够数量的花朵。总之是跟我们过去的走格子还是很不一样的。
I guess it's like the daily grind. You know how we like grind the event mode levels?
是不是
That's probably what it
奖励是
is.
当然有的啦，舰长们参与
So for
当
rewards-
落幕之后活动，
Oh,
获
new
得的
costume,
商店
okay.
代币可以用于兑换缭乱星级、全新服装、吸染砂棉、水晶、
Or Spina
能量模
Hysteria
具、3分结晶等奖励。
那在介绍完夏日活动之后，我们在6.9版本期间也将上线累充的活动。那么舰长累
And
计
top
充
up
值达
bonus
到648元，即可自选获得次生银翼晋升印章、无限世界之蛇晋升印章、远古传承3选1，更可获得扩充补给卡、精准补给卡、SP 角色补给卡。
Okay, so the
远古
usual
意志
top
等
up
福利回
bonus,
馈哦
but the stamps are
除了
Mobius
这个呢，
and
我记得
Silver
这
Wing.
次6.9版本我们有一个大活，当时在嘉年华现场公布，哎，我之后就已经等不及了。
Oh,
当然很急，我知道大家都很急，但是大家先别急，我立刻就端上来。好，那么本次版本更新还将带来《崩坏3》与动画电影《普罗米亚》的联动活动。活动期间将推出颜绿和大 A 的
what do
联
you
动
guys
服装
feel about this
说的这些我都
collab?
知道了，能不能讲
I've
一些
seen very
没有
mixed
听过的？
好，那么这次的
Very
联动服装在风格
mixed
设计上做了很
reactions
多
to
新
it
的尝试，相信舰长们对于这些设计也比较好奇，那就让2位老师来介绍一下吧。
好的。最近美术老师比较忙，就由我来代班。
I'm surprised.
这次联动服
I'm
装
surprised
之一
it's
就是
PROMARE
新颜之律者的全新服装淡字炎焰，其风格和配色，包括领结的元素，还有大件的青蓝配色，都是结合了普罗米亚里面 Leo 这位角色的服装和武器设计，整体上是做出了一种偏朋克的风格。同时，我们也为 Kiana 设计了新的披风，这其中结合了
So
颜
is
绿
it
火
just
属
explaining,
性，
oh, we got
还
her
有
new cape
普
and
罗米
like,
亚它那
you
种
know,
有棱角
very
色彩
colorful
很鲜艳
slashes.
夸张的火焰设计。
Don't get me wrong, it's
对
not a
当时看
bad
完
looking
普罗米亚
skin.
它动画
Neither
内
of
容
them
和元
are,
素给
but
我的印象是
I'm
很
just
深的。那这一次在我们的这个
I
颜绿
don't
身上，实际
even
上
I
是
haven't
没有
watched
十分的
PROMARE.
新颖
I'm going to watch
那
it,
对
but
于
you
上述
know,
狂喜的舰长们千万不要
at
错
least
过
one
这个服装
outfit should be free.
然后
I
呢，我们
agree
还
with
有第
that.
二套联动服装，
I
就是
do
我们
agree
的
with
大
that.
一十番旅人的一
That's
个
the
全
point
新
of
服
like a
装，灭火
collab,
之
right?
魂
哎，对，大一的服装设计呢，主要参考了普罗米亚另一位角色伽罗的元素啊，在保留他标志性的红裤子的基础上，上半身更多参考了伽罗的机甲设计啊，里面有许多设计的细节。
This one
比如
looks
说
really, really
大
good.
一头上的角呢
I made the comment
源自于伽罗机甲的一个
saying that
形态
this outfit
体现了
makes
它
her
消
look
防
like a
员的一个
5-star
身份
character.
然后它背后的一个机甲裙子呢，参考的则是伽罗机甲的一个头盔。
我感觉我们也
I'm
做了
sorry,
一
I'm
个
not
非常大的
translating
红
what
配
you're
绿
saying.
是吧
I know he's like really passionate about it, but I know nothing about PROMARE, so I can't be like, oh my god, they added like
非常的
some detail from like some main character. I'm sorry, I haven't watched it.
在活动期间均会有一个限时优惠价，然后感兴趣的舰长可不要错过。
那么除了服装以外，我记得这一次普罗米亚联动应该还有一个内容吧？
是的，
是的，是的。
PROMARE is a
哎
cool
在
anime.
6.9版本
I
期间
do
内
want to
我
watch
们还
it
将
for
开
sure.
启烈火
So
智
this
魂
is a
冰火面
stick
板活动
that
舰
is
长们可以通过完成活动任务获得
event. It's an event
使用普罗
reward.
米亚
So
火种
this is the
参与
free
冰火翻
thing.
牌连线玩法，即可以获
I
得
mean, okay, I
联动活动
guess.
圣痕、普罗米亚、赤炎、夏等奖励。
以火灭火很合理。
合理。
好，那么除了这个联动活动以
No
外，
story for the
我看
collab.
到
I mean,
最
they
近
just
有一个新
said
服装
that
也
that
是
is like an
广受这个舰
event
长们的好评哈
collab
让人直呼这
event
看了谁不迷
reward.
糊
So that might be the story.
看了谁能不爱呀
No one's
我
gonna
知道
use
你
it.
说的是什么，俄罗斯的女高管要来了。
好了，我们正式来介绍一下，我们次生
Okay,
的新
Silver
服装
Wing
非凡态度，展现了那
This
个
is a
博
nice
尼亚
one.
在工作室里的风格。其实这个造型已经在他的圣痕上出现过了，只不过这次又经过
So
了
it
我们
has
美术同
made
学
its
的
way
小小加工，就变成
into the
三维立体
Stigmata
了。
art, but now
其实不瞒
you're
你
going to
说，
give
因为
it to us as a
运营同学也
costume.
会参与一些跟美术同学一起去讨论最初的服装的规划。那么在当时提出的这个服装的需求的时候，有同学就说，在网上看到很多玩家都说4乘1这个服装，非常喜欢。我们当时就没好意思说你这看的到底是哪个网站？总而言之，这位同学干得好。
这套服装呢将会在6.9版本末期上线，具体的获取方式还请舰长们关注后续的官方资讯。
好，
it's
那上半场的节目已经快到尾声了哈，这里最后还要再插播一个小新闻。
是的，没错，我们的知名美少女车手，原理工作室首席制作人，大崩坏时期的英雄之一，诸多身份于一身的 Bronya，她要出手办了。
其实之前线下嘉年华应该已经有部分舰长和他见过面了，对吧？
对的。哎，我们这次将为大家带来第一手的情报，就是 Bronia 的首个大比例手办将于本月17日正式开启预定。
大比例，
大比例哪里大呢？
好了啊，那这次
Oh
的
my
手办选择了饱受舰长好评的次生银翼装甲造型。
Okay, so they're talking about the figure will be out on August 17th, and then the battle designer was, and they're like, it's a big release, and the battle designer was like, big where? That's why he pointed to him like, dude.
之后还有精彩的支配剧场栏目等着舰长们。接下来就让我们稍微休息一下，进入大家都非常期待的兑换码环节。我们来一起看一看 Bronia 的首个大比例手办的 PV 码。
Okay, a PV for the figurine. Okay. Code is for CN, that is correct. Damn. Is it cast offable? I have no idea. I don't think they gave us that detail. Maybe they did, but I didn't know that that's what you're saying. Oh, this is the PROMARE PV. I don't know, maybe I'll be more hyped about it once I watch PROMARE, but as of now, we're not even getting like a playable character. That is kind of odd. And both costumes are B-chip costumes. I just don't know what they're trying to do with this one. Like, usually their events are really great, and even though Evangelion wasn't like crazy good, it was still done properly. You know, they had like multiple stigs, they had Asuka, and she had her original costume from the anime, but I don't really see what they're trying to do with this. It's a bit like Gurren Lagann? Yeah, that's what I've heard. Can we peek up? Well, to find that out, you'll have to buy the figurine for yourself and see. Literally see. Forget about collab, just hype about Sirin. I am very hyped about Sirin. You know, and more people than usual are, you know, not just because of the fact that Sirin is a very loved character by the community, but she is also going to be an F2P friendly character. G4 Stigs, free from the war treasury. I mean, free in a sense. Farmable from the war treasury. There we go. That's the word. And yeah, basically just try to get her weapon. Okay. Theater of Domination.
欢迎各位舰长来到我们的支配
We're
剧
gonna
场，
get
在这
spicy
里大家可以
details
畅所
from
欲言，
the
来聊聊我们感兴趣的幕后
battle
怎么样，沙老师
designer.
有没有一种回家的感觉？
非常的高兴。
不愧是你，经过了嘉年华的洗礼，现在已经像他前辈一样，非常熟练。
我们刚才实际上是一起又看了一遍普罗米亚的联动 PV 嘛，当时发布之后，我也看到评论区有很多舰长会提到叫双出狂喜、梦幻联动，也有很多舰长会好奇说我们这个 PV 它是班机社跟我们合作制作的吗？还是怎么个形式？
Oh, was this like a collaborative event?
合到一起，
Did they collaborate to jointly make the PV for
是我们
PROMARE?
视频组的同学在研究过普罗米亚的风格之后精心打造的，是实打实的处理放出。
Okay, so the PV, I know not many people are that hyped about PROMARE, but we're just gonna go through this. So they did say the PV is created 100% by the Honkai Impact team. They researched or watched enough PROMARE stuff and came up with the style to make it
真的就是跟普罗米亚里面那种风格就是还原的很好。
exactly like a PROMARE style,
在从零开始一点点
but
搭建
in
这些
Honkai
元素的时
Impact
候，
flavor
他们为了
PV.
结合好这个普罗米亚的风格，从建模一直到后面包括渲染啊这些阶段，都做了很多跟以往不同的这个调整。
毕竟这个就是大家其实也知道嘛，就我们 公司文化里面就有一条说我们要做 something new， 对吧？
对，确实。
所以这次联动也是希望能够给到舰长一种那个全新的体验，毕竟它是一种完全不同的风格。
They hope to give
PV 里那个
captains
大
a
楼
whole
着火
different
了是吧？
experience.
那个可能大家没认出来，它其实是天穹式的大楼，那个东西
是这样的
啊，
确实没认出来，那确实是 something new 了，
但是有一种耳目一新这种感觉哈。
And despite it being like an entire different style.
啊，手绘了很多特效的画面啊，比如说那个龙喷出去那个火，哎，那个是我们
And that was
自己手绘的啊，一帧一帧
a
画出来
building
的
from Arc City.
哎，一说到这个火，哎，这次这个火队这个内讧哈，真的是太帅了，打得好，我只能说，啊，尤其是 Kiana 最后跟那个艾伊的对峙的这个画面。啊，这还是我认识的那个艾伊吗？
这要展现一点联动嘛，人物之间曾经发生过这样的关系，一定要往电影里面去想。
去带啊，
这就要提到我们的新服装了。实际上作为运营的话，我们是在去年下旬得到了会跟普罗米亚联动的这个消息，然后我们当时就会去跟美术同学说要敲定一下这个关于联动的服装的规划。然后呢，我们当时是说这个普罗米亚的动画，因为我自己是老宅，我当时是看过的，那个火焰的特效印象非常深刻。然后呢，我们就很早就要确定，那他可能就得拿我们的火伤女武神，对吧，去做一个对应的皮肤。然后呢，当时最早就是去敲定下来十番旅人，就艾伊这套装甲，因为整体觉得它的元素是比较的丰富，然后它也能做出那种英姿飒爽的感觉。
So the earliest design was for
为什么有些舰长就要问了？那第二，他为什么选了这个星焰之律者呢？实际上我们当时会觉得就是，本来在这个节点我们会由于两个女武神，一个是我们的维尔薇，螺旋鱼系之侠。然后当时会觉得他的这个元素自己的风格太强烈了，那个战车，对吧？然后就觉得这个做成普罗米亚我想不出来，然后美术同学说不行，
你得做他那个大机器人。
Potentially get the
后来就说那个我们的那个
other
collab， 星焰之律者
one of them was UV，
我们当时就一拍即合，觉得这个
But they thought her contraption was too hard to make integrate into the costume because they were thinking of making it the giant robot. I don't know, but they say there was a giant robot. I guess people are saying it's like Gurren Lagann, so I guess, but yeah, so they decided that it was a bit too overwhelming, maybe for the players, so they went with Flamescion.
这个会很有意思啊。我们当时在制作服装规划的时候，还会去提到一些，就是因为我们跟美术同学会一起去拉会讨论，然后过程中间会是大家的一个想法的碰撞，也会展现出一些人的个人的癖好啊，对吧？这个环节。
So they talk a lot with the
比如说有这么一个设计元素
art and design
它是我们的格雷修跟死神之律者共通的设计元素。啊，然后我再点一点的话，就是当时我们的改子哥做过视频，在开头发癫，对死神之律者发癫的那个元素，当时我们组的同学就跟美术老师说，这个元素要多出。
哇！原来那个魔法少女西林就是空之律者那个皮肤是不是也这么导
你猜
？So they're saying Griseo was. I think they're saying Griseo and the Herrscher Rebirth have a lot of similar designs. I think she was used as a base for the design.
这个女服装出了一套，哎，玩家都很喜欢。那我们是不是？给13音节他一人来一套，对不对？是会
也要穿吗？
要穿吗？
我觉得一定很有效果。对，然后包括像泳装嘛，我们也会问美术同学，冬天真的不能游泳吗？这个事情我们可以再商议一下，对吧？虽然实际工作中不会这么的发癫啊，应该不会。
As for swimsuit designs, they would ask the art team, "Can they swim even if it's winter?" We should discuss that a little bit more.
在支配剧场做更多的畅所欲言。
好了那说到这儿哈，感觉我们这个版本尝试了很多这个新东西啊，不管是我们的这个联动 PV 也好，
This update has
服装也好。
experimented with a lot of new things.
最关心我们的这个新角色。那么我记得咱们之前应该是没有设计过魔法少女类型的角色，对吧？然后西林应该是头一个吧？
从角色角度来说是这样，虽然之前有很多魔法少女，但其实都是
even though there were a lot of magical girls, they were only costumes.
的角色会拿剪刀进行攻击，
而且他还是环刃哦。
之前旭光老师在直播里面说过，节目里面预告过说，我们的环刃有第4种用法，不知道大家有没有想到他第4种用法呢是2个圈拼成一个剪刀，
Oh, they gave hints
和你的内
a
存
lot earlier. So when they first introduced the
这个属
chakram,
于我们那次开会一开始都没
the
有定
design
这个
team
议题
said,
然后
who
阿
was
季老
on the
师突然
stream
灵
said
光一现
that there are
帮
4
忙跑到
uses
黑板
of the
上一画
chakram.
说你这个环刃
I
是
do
俩
remember
弧
that stream back
剪
then.
刀也是俩
And
弧
so we were saying like as a chakram itself, as
反正
dual
这个真的
blades,
是我是没有猜出来，
and
感觉很奇妙。
apparently one of them was
而且
actually the
就像
pair
我
of
们前面
scissors.
说
So
的
back
就是
then
我
they
们
already had the design for
之
Sirin.
前也
That's
陆陆续续
crazy.
出了很多那个魔法少女的皮肤，其实就是作为整个舰长线里面一个比较重要的环节。那这件事儿是提前很早去酝酿的，这样我们在特定的活动里才有足够的皮肤可以用。
我们应该不会从魔法少女特莉莉的时期就已经开始酝酿这件事了吧？
其实
Have we been thinking of it
差不多
since
哦，
好早呀！
Magical
为什么我们
Girl
等了这么
Terry?
久才讲这个故
And
事？
he's
说
like,
明魔法
yeah.
少女这个职业太危险了。
Wait,
是吧
Magical Girl Terry is like 4 years ago or
我都
something.
说了多少遍是轻喜剧了，对吧？我们整个那个1.5部的基调就是轻喜剧，为什么不信？
那你说刀了吗？
I've told you guys it's a happy ending. Why don't you guys believe me? I told you guys 1.5 is a happy ending. No one's
我
believing.
都是在床上反复扭转观看了，只能说甜，最甜不过崩坏3
啊，甜，
太
甜
啊
甜啊！那么正好下个版本
Sweet
就要迎来我们舰长线的
So
完
they're
结了
saying the keyword
我
is
在这儿先
sweet
许个愿啊，许愿一个主线和舰长线双大团圆
这我得想想，可能还不太好说
啊！
因为
有卖关子是吧？
因为是这样的，就是我们这次舰长线的那个结局篇呢，我
So they're talking about
们
the
正
captain
牌
verse
舰长，也就是那个刺客先生和我们的摆渡人将会迎来一次对决，在故事的最
So
后，
there'll
他
be
们
a
会有一
kind of
个
like a
巅
fight.
峰碰撞。
我们的刺客先生跟摆渡人他是一个角色吗？还是他是2个角色？
对，他其实是那个两个角色，所以其实就是我们整个第一部的框架里面，我们总共有3个，就是说我们直接用玩家身份带入的角色。那么我们在
So
后
there
宫
are
坏书里有
3
亲民配
characters
上
that
队
is the
那么我们
self-insert.
在这一条活动线里面，有那个刺客先
quote
生，
unquote the
有
captain
摆渡人，他们2个角色，这也是说我们整个这个故事线被叫做舰长线的原因，因
So it
为
might be a
它的
faction war event.
就是可以认为相互对立的2
So
个
you're saying
主角
that
都
these
是
like
那
quote
个
unquote
都是舰长
captains
这
in the
个身份
captain verse
另外就是
are
说在
going
这
to
个故事里的
clash
角色像
in
我们
kind of like
的
an all-out
关心
war.
泰兔、德尔塔、霞、西林这些，都和主线里那个曾经的自己有一个很明显的那个偏差值，就好像说大家说同素异形体嘛，对吧？就好像说我们这个西林，那他跟那个是没有经过，比如说什么奥托的那个迫害啊什么。
So this Sirin is free from Otto's corruption.
就基本上是健康、阳光、积极向上这样去长大的一个孩子，所以
So she
你
grew
会
up
看到就是
healthy
他的
and
这个河
happy.
豚的感觉和作为反派的那个西林的河豚的感觉就是完全不一样的。
Oh, so they're going to clash because it's going to be like Sirin from the other bubble universe is going to be the Sirin that was, corrupted and went through all the experiments, and this magical girl Sirin is like the happy one, and so there's going to be like some kind of like clash
石之
between
女人
them.
女士有句话说得好，哪天上街还撞不见10个8个多重人格。嘿，
这个放在我们第一部里还真是这个样子。其实追根溯源
Yeah,
的
they're
话
talking about the
这个也是
assassin,
就是在
but
我们的
after
早期
that
其实各方面的那个产能都不是很充分，但是我们又想
He
去
said,
从更多的侧面
then
去
there's like
传达我们
the
塑
3
造出来
characters. I
的
don't.
这些角色，包括它各种各样的可能性。就除了像我刚才说的西林，比如说就是我们的霞，它其实也和那个原本的那个8重音是有比较强的区别的，包括我们的那个亥兔和布罗尼亚，其实都有这种相似那个又不同的这种展开方式。这个也是其实是说就是我们第一部里的一个创作思路吧，就是我们尽可能会去在活动里尝试各种各样的讲故事的方式，就比如说我
So
们
they're
新
going
域
to
的
try
消失
different
之这个系列对
storytelling
吧？
mediums.
它从那个崩坏国际开始，那么里面就是有时间轮回这个要素，那这个东西放在主线里是没法做的，因为我们主线有很严谨的设定体系，对吧？就那我们这个时间的权利就是收在中间身上的。但是当你放在一个系列
There
活
were a
动里
lot
面的
of
时候，你可以尝试
mechanics
这种
in the
更丰富的
story
角度。
这也像是一种新版本的一边
devices
开
that
车
were
一边修
used
车。
in the captain verse that could not be deployed into the main story because it had a strict set of
就是我
rules
们一
to
边会
follow.
去推进我们的
And so
主
they
线故事
decided
发
to
展
spin this
然后
off in
会
the
在
captain
活动
verse.
剧情里去探索一个
And this
新
is
的叙事方式
exploring a lot of
去补充一下
how
我们的剧情，去
there's so
去
many
彰显各个角色
similarities
特色
in
这种
V's
感觉。
like Bronya
然后
versus
听说
Bronya,
角色原画那边
like
也会
Bronya
是一
versus
边
Hexer Bunny,
做
but
新的角色的设计，
they
一边再把
they
一些
have
老的
like
角色
those
进行一
huge
个翻新。
differences. And I guess they're saying like it's going to clash in the end of the Captain Verse.
对吧？就经常会有一些老的角色，哎，我们当他需要做一些新的演出的时候，我们会把他表情重新做一下，对吧？大家能看到。
其实不光是角色，包括我们的那个场景同学，还有我们这边的那个战斗设计同学，其实都要做很多的这种工作，来让我们的老角色能够在新的剧情里面发光发热。就比如说就是
There's a lot of work that goes into quote unquote repackaging the older characters.
细节的制作标准是一直在演变的，比如说他身上的打光的逻辑啊之类的，这个会造成什么呢？这些东西都是要角色同学、场景同学配合着去调的，也包括就是
to make them be able to shine in the new environments.
那个新的环境里面，哎，他可能叭出一个 bug， 就我听说好像每次测试服一上你们那都是几百条的。
哎，那正好说到这儿了哈，正好问问红楼老
So
师。
they're saying they face a lot of difficulty when they try to put old monsters into new maps, and it always results in a ton of bugs.
经过
And they're always there to
6
have
年多的
to
时间
fix
版本
it.
啊，其实它整个怪物设计思路其实有一个很大的变化的。大家知道，在早期的时候呢，《崩坏3》是一个点燃动作之魂的游戏啊，不知道大家以前经没经历过啊？比如说，
那可太点燃了。
这样大家印象深刻的啊，比如说早期版本的那个黑鸭啊，应该很多舰长被黑鸭暴揍过，对吧？对吧？包括后边我们会去做的这个虚数神骸啊，这样系列的 BOSS， 其实它的早期的 BOSS 呢难度都是偏大的，但是随后呢就是
The earlier bosses
到了
had
篇章的时候呢，我们就开始给主线里边加了难度选择，还有发现
had
其实当时
big
也做
difficulty
了保护机制嘛，就是它没有后面那一套
we face with less powerful battlesuits on our end, and they felt like they wanted to put in some kind of balancing mechanism, and that's why they gave us the difficulty settings that we get to choose in the story.
转，然后这个差一点打不死，我的天哪！
是的。
So they're saying there are times when people had
但是在主线里
difficulty with
没有
like
办法，
to lock,
他只能倒在牙医女士的刀下。
or when they were fighting
是的，
against
我记得这
Raven,
个17章变身雷律
some
还
people
有这
found
个缩
that
血
they
和
could
复
not
活的机制的。
they had difficulty
说
defeating
到
the
17章
bosses.
这个雷律啊，我要给你们讲一段老故事啊，因为这个雷律
With
的
the
BOSS
Herrscher
的技能呢也是
Herrscher
我做的
Thunder,
啊。
I'm giving you guys a
有一个
oh he designed
有
the
趣的事情
Herrscher
就是我们
Thunder
在做这个 BOSS 的
fight,
时候呢，毕竟
and he's like, I'm going to give you guys an old
太刀的
story.
嘛，对吧？然后我就想，那既然用太刀了，雷律这个角色，我一定要给他做一个拔刀斩。那做到拔刀斩的时候呢，我就突发奇想啊，我在想，那我们能不能去找一些我们崩坏2时期啊，牙医跟田娜他们很甜蜜的一些照片，放在这里。来了，
开始了。
啪一刀。
So the slash that reveals a lot of memories. It was like, oh, can we find a lot of sweet memories from Honkai Gakuen?
这是他们的一个创意啊。
对的，然后
而且其实就像你刚才说的，就是他这个 BOSS 战里面有锁血，对吧？但他锁血其实也是一个情节表达的一部分，就是 Kiana， 我
It's interesting how that came from the battle designer instead of like the story writer. I thought that was a point put in by the story writers to like, you know, tug on your emotional strings, but it was a battle design instead,
其实不巧那个时候那段时间
which is
我生
pretty
病了，我
cool.
回家住了几天院，回来之后大超出我的预期啊！不光是一张照片这么简单啊，做了好多张照片，而且啊，像那张照片里边啊，他那个雷律拔刀斩切的位置啊，正好是卡那个牙医他们手牵手的位置哦，还有很多有趣的细节，像什么比如说刚才说嘛，他
He's like, oh, we gotta position the slash right at where Kiana and Mei were holding hands.
牙医这个 BOSS 他会背对着玩家，慢慢的离开。
That's why Lu's face was like, oh my god. He's like, it can't just be one photo. We gotta put a bunch of photos in there. Even the stigmata was by their input. The design was given, you know, from the input of the battle team.
最喜欢喝珍珠翡翠白玉汤的就是他们。
是的，哎。但是不管怎么说吧，不管我们
that was a huge surprise. I'm surprised.
大家肯定是因为之前喜欢这件事情，然后我们才去往这个方向去做，对吧？
Maybe because everyone likes this direction that we make it. Well, Honkai community, I guess we're responsible for all the pain and.
另一种那个用法是我们阿基老师突发奇想在黑板上画出来的。
像这种讨论其实会贯穿我们整个项目开发的周期。应该说，崩坏3的项目组基本上大家都是一个共同的气质。那从战斗策划的角度来看，红楼老师觉得在崩坏3做怪物的体验如何？
哦，那真的是太神奇了，对吧？大家知道吧？就是其实呢，做怪物啊，跟
So
做
make
角色呢，其实
what's the
有很多
difference
相同
between
之处啊，
designing a
但是有一些不同的
monster
地方啊，就
and
其实
designing a
大家看到
character?
啊，我们角色跟怪物他们都是会用一样的攻击技能，对吧？然后有自己的血条啊，就很多东西看上去是一样的，但是呢。怪物是什么呢？它是我们由 AI 去驱动啊，然后我们去给玩家出题，
the core difference is
破解我们
even though they
然后战胜
both
这个怪物
characters and monsters have a set of
成
attacks.
就感这个过程，如果用一个词来概括的话，这个事情叫做交互啊。我们表面上说我们在做的是这样一个怪物，但其实我们做的呢是玩家跟我们这个怪物本身的一个交互的一个行为啊。说白了，我们做怪物
So
其
he
实是在
said monsters have a really different design to them because they are only powered by the AI and the AI is controlling them. And so you have to consider the relationship or like the back and forth between the player and the monsters. And that's how you design their moves, and that in essence molds the gameplay. According to how the moves of the monsters are created.
就是还有一位用太刀的 BOSS 啊，印象特别深刻啊，什么呢？叫做3S 战场地藏御魂痛苦啊，哎，痛苦。但其实呢，因为3S 战场这个 BOSS 呢，也是我当时做的，当时我们第一支战场啊
He has designed so many fights.
的 BOSS， 因为在之前我们战场其实只有2S 难度，
到5层就没了。
对，到5层就没了。但是我们发现，哎，舰长们的能力太强了，打2S BOSS 的时候呢，都是1秒就可以把 BOSS 打趴下了，
打不开差距了。
对呀，大家都很强了。那我们就想，哎，我们要给玩家提供一些新的挑战，对吧？让大家打起来更有意思。大家现在线上看到的版本，其实我们后期改的版本。最早的版本的时候呢，大家记得吗？就是地藏御魂，
He is the core designer for the triple S fights.
其实是有一个进化嘛，对吧？然然后
泛着蓝光。
对
And he was like, oh, captains are way more powerful than we ever anticipated. They can finish a round in 1 second. I mean 0, but who's counting?
设计的时候是什么样子的呢？它其实是左右手轮砍，并且他们攻击速度会越来越快，越来越快，很像石堡开大之后的那个锄地啊，夸夸夸夸，越来越快，对，越打越嗨，越打越厉害。然后呢，这个设计呢，我做出来之后，我自己打了一下，我发现我打不过去。
So I think it was Tona. It was supposed to be a dual-handed attack, and I think he has like a combo attack that it attacks faster and faster. And he tried going against the boss, and he decided it was way too powerful, and there's no way to defeat it. And so a bit of like the core design in MA or in general against monsters is that there has to be a back and forth. It cannot be one-sided. I mean, it does seem a little one-sided when you look at like the 0-second fights and all that, but I think it's more prominent in triple S fights where. Okay, so that's why they made like parry mechanics. So even though, I think it was Jizo. I don't know why, because he kept saying like the right arm. I thought it was Kona, but so that's why they say there's one evasion and one parry instead of like they want to give it like more dimensions, but they also want to have it like more of an interaction with the players instead of having it one-sided on either the player being too powerful or the monster being too powerful.
只剩下4天的时间，这么极限只剩下4天的时间的时候呢，我们当时就想到这个点子很酷，但是呢，我们去找我们的动画师找我们的蘑菇同学说能不能加动作，说来不及，大哥，真的来不及，对吧
？So they're saying sometimes they design a movement.
地藏挥刀挥下去的时候，玩家的攻击打上去，一个拼刀效果，它被弹开了。但是呢，动画师又没有时间去做。
Oh, and they think of a very cool animation and game mechanic, but they
下去的动作在引擎里面倒放，然后再回来，然后再停住，哎，这不就是哐，就做了一个弹回来的效果。
离上贝塔服还有4天啊，这个时候去做一个非常大量的这个调整。我刚听的，我这个心里真的。
They're saying sometimes they think of a really cool mechanic, but they bring it to design team, and design is like it's too late. We can't add a move because designing a move and integrating it into the boss and everything takes time and testing. And so sometimes on the fly he works with what they already have, but he modifies the movement to be like he reverses a slash and it makes it look like, oh, like, you know, you're parrying it because it's being deflected.
啊，就你记住这种状态之后，你觉得你在做的是一件一定会成功的事，并且这个事儿真的很酷，你就会进入到这种状态。说到这件事呢，对吧？
So here's a lot. So he's like, sometimes you think a design is way too cool and it's too much of a missed opportunity to not put it in the game. So sometimes he will push a lot harder. Oh, auto boss fight. Oh, it's written down here. Oh, I should have read it. Then I would have known if he was talking about Jizo or Tona. Anyway, auto boss fight. When they're designing a fight, they would look for the story writers to get direction because of how they need to know what needs to be conveyed in the fight, but also, you know, follow like canonically their moves. So they would consult story writing. Oh, so they asked about what conflicts Otto and Kiana had that you want to be specifically conveyed in the fight, or if there are any.
我记得你们当时直接愣住了几秒钟，不知道该说什么。
对，然后我当时就在冥思苦想啊，冥思苦想。
These are the story, like post-turn boss fight.
能够让他既看上去啊有很强，同时呢，他的目的呢又是吸引对方啊，吸引玩家把自己给击败啊。当时真的是很头疼。
Wow.
然后想了好几天。
So
最后呢
they're thinking of what kind of a move looks extremely powerful, but seemed like he was still looking to be defeated.
在剧场版第2部破里边有一个经典的镜头，哎，就是那个2号机撞破那个使徒，有很多撞过去。 当时我看到这个东西的时候，我就突然有一个灵感，为什么呢？因为我们当时说这个要去打这个奥托 BOSS 的用的角色是那个天元奇鹰，然后天元奇鹰他是会骑着马冲锋嘛。我一想，哎，冲锋撞破很多层 AT 立场，哐哐哐哐，这不就是一个很爽的感觉吗？然后呢
So it's talking about Palutina's Equinox going through the barriers in the horse riding sequence.
火种嘛，一个想法，但实际上。
And that's how he got inspiration for one of the battle mechanics against Otto.
但是实战中呢，玩家不可能离 BOSS 那么远，对吧？
哎，我知道了，这时候什么场景美术、技术美术都开始给你念紧箍咒了，
是的，对吧？啊，后来呢，我们就反复迭代了。刚才樊山老师说的10几个版本啊，换了各种不同的互动的形式啊。我们一开始可能场景里摆了20多层啊，这样的互动，后来慢慢的把它
我们把它
叠到一起了，
对，
叠到一起了啊，就是最后大家在主线里面看到的那个花瓣盾的那个效果啊，然后这个花瓣盾呢，也是你可以骑着马，然后哐哐哐把它撞碎的。 这种感觉真的，当时做出来之后，印象非常深刻。凌晨3点做完之后，立马录了一个视频，上传到我们的制作群里边。
Whoa, they finished.
你怎么跟
They finished it at 3 a.m. and made a video to be sent to the other teams.
说那个就他见过凌晨4
点的
那个我们那个楼顶。
哎，真的是这样。对，然后呢，
Damn, they do work really hard.
还有另一个点不得不提，就是从这个
So they're talking about yeah, I don't know. I don't get where he got the inspiration because he was like, oh, this Palutina's Equinox thing of like going through the barriers, like it's a really good feeling, and so like we want to put that in the game. I thought he was building up to like another fight, but he was just talking about designing that stage.
灿烂一点是吧？升起吧，伟大的正午。
是的啊，这个语音我真的是听了100遍。我们让特效的同学他们做一个子弹，然后我们在引擎里面把这个子弹复制出来几百份、几千份。 让他们按照固定的轨迹、固定的几何图形去播放出来，哎，我们这个画面瞬间就充满了。
我知道了，超时空子弹就跟那个凯文讲的那个电子一样，是吧？就一个，啪啪啪啪啪啪一堆。
是的。然后呢，这件事儿就又是我们另一个噩梦的开始。
1000个子弹，一个方向接一个噩梦
，1000 bullets，
一个套一个。之后呢，立马就被我们就 TA 还有性能组的同学摁着往回怼。 是吧？你同屏放来几千个子弹，
已经能预见了。
玩家的手机超限都不行了，是吧？
这个地方是那个顺便解释一下我们那个
So they're saying stuff like,
美术的工作，他们
I don't remember what scene this is, but he said they got design team and they're like, okay, just design one bullet for us, and then when in game we'll turn it into like 1,000 bullets. And he's like, oh, after we did that, well, the next nightmare came because then the system couldn't handle that many assets in one scene.
然后他们说，我们要保住性能，我们要保证这个游戏不会闪退，我们就在互相的保一颗子弹，那边要扣一颗子弹，这个之间不断的去拉扯，去优化我们的性能啊。当然不光是扣减子弹数量这些事儿嘛，同时我们也在很多其他的方面啊做了很多这种优化。
对，其实我记得好像那个算法都迭代了。
是的，算法也迭代，然后就保证了奥托这个 BOSS 它的弹幕是能够以一个比较低的性能在这个手机上运行。
It's the like the near automata fights, you know, like the bullet hell ones. So they're talking about how they balance it out, where your system can handle that many bullets in the scene, but it doesn't, you know, destroy your phone essentially.
对吧？而且那个弹幕还有很多种表现形式啊，是一个非常美的一个效果。然后呢，这个东西它依然遇到了强大的性能挑战。
我就知道
every step of the way is a huge nightmare.
做斗争，对。但是转机就在这之后不久，我当时看到了我们公司的一些同事啊，他们分享了一个新的知识点啊，说我们有的同事啊，他们有一些技术。可以把弹幕这类的技能的性能消耗降低到原来的1%。
我知道了，算法又革命了。
哎，我当时一看这个，哦，我也要。
They said someone found a way to turn the system requirements to only require 1% of what processing power that was needed to process that many things on screen at one time.
其他项目组的同学，对吧？他们教会了我们很多新的知识。
So that's why they went ham with that. If you guys realize, like, oh my god, yet another challenge. Like Benares was shooting like bullet hell and then like auto and like.
Unity 的引擎的支持的，但是这个引擎嘛，大家知道，虽然我们崩坏3是一个一直在一边开车一边修车的一个状态，但是呢，我们平时修呢都是
Honkai is always a car we're repairing while driving.
新的功能。我们要换发动机了。那
我记得在这个之前，我们可能总共就换过1次引擎，对吧？
对，然后那一次换完之后，大家应该能够感受到上线之后数不清的 bug 扑面而来。
Oh my god！
对，因为换发动机这件事儿真的有伴随着非常大的。
So they have overhauled the battle system entirely once.
我们去解决。当时呢，我们
But when they did that,
讨论这件事情，我们拉来了
there was an entire wall of bugs that came out.
拉来了 TA 组的同学，大家。聚在一个小会议室里面去聊，说，战斗策划，他们想要一个更低消耗的一个弹幕的功能，就这个事儿想升级引擎，能不能做？
Wow. So they pulled everyone in the company and they were like, oh, battle design is looking for something that requires less operating processing power.
既然就换引擎了，
到这里了，
不如再上点别的。
是的，当时我们在聊的时候就会发现，哎，如果只是为了做弹幕，那升级引擎好像有点亏哦。但是当时我们其实已经在构思我们崩坏3第2部的一个规划啊，每天都在跟旭光老师在探讨我们第2部能够做到什么，我们可以做到什么。
Oh, this is in talks for part 2.
就是我们。第2部最初的构思差不多就是我们在做人之律者这个周期里面开始酝酿。
So they started part 2 when they designed the Herrscher of Human Ego. And so that's where it talks about the new system came in because they also the main goal of it was to lower processing power needed to run Honkai Impact. And so in that process, they managed to improve the game, is what I'm getting out of him. Like, he didn't directly say that, but...
从此以后呢，我们就开始着手第2部引擎升级的准备。我们专门拉了一个小组啊，每天在研究我们的引擎如何进行迭代。对，当然这个要非常感谢啊，就包括我们的引擎组啊，我们的这个。
So they pulled teams from other departments and form a small team, or like people from other departments, and they form a small team that's running it on the side to help develop this.
之前确实没有留意到，就是说那个我们在引擎这个方面也做了这么大的一个付出，因为那段时间其实大家工作都很忙。
是的，是的。
好，那么也是听洪武老师讲了这么多哈，也真的是。 大家光听就能听出来，我们真的是在这方面。在游戏体验方面下了多大的工作量，真的是非常感谢我们开发组同学付出的这个努力。
Battle designer talk about
我们都聊了这么多这个第一部相关的幕后了哈。那其实我觉得各位舰长应该也想听听我们刚结束这个6.8版本的幕后，是不是？比如说这个希尔贴贴什么的。
说到这个，其实我们6.8版本的剧情有一个跟以往不太一样的制作流程，就是。我们实际上不光是说我们那个你我这个过场动画，我们是把你我这个过场动画之前很长一段的剧情，其实都出了分镜，做了一揽子规划。所以其实大家在那个嘉年华上看到那个本子，其实只是它的一部分，它还有一部分是给任务策划去看的，叫做说，哎，我。比如说那个黑蜥和白蜥，小黑蜥、小白蜥，还有包括那个就是那个代表心理阴影的那个眼睛看不见的，他们怎么样去在镜头语言上组织，然后把它编排到一个和我们的过场动画能够无缝对接起来的一个结果。只是虽然最终其实没有做到完全的无缝对接，但是大家可以感觉到，就是它比我们之前的过场对话，其实明显就是它情绪上是和我们的观察内容是结合的更紧，
它对得上的。对。
So they want the animation short to be more integrated to the story and more related, and so they split the entire thing into story that you experience in game, and then more so. Better flow into like the animated short, because they felt like the previous animated shorts kind of were too much of a standalone thing.
去把维塔顶飞这一段，包括他维塔顶飞之后落地瘫痪这一段的 cutscene 的演出，跟我们跟 play 其实完全是无缝一镜到底衔接过去的，非常的顺畅啊！而且现在我们这个整个管线进化真的是非常大，非常的唏嘘。
其实所有的事情都是这么一步一步走过来的。大家可以回想，就是在《后宫坏术2》的时候，当时一上来。几个角色在车库里，就是其实从我们的制作标准来说，那个东西做的是有点僵的，因为用了很多的正反打，对吧？但是有一个东西是很能激励我们的信心，叫做说，即便我们的当时的创作手段比较原始，但是那个玩家还是给了我们很多的鼓励，叫做说，我能在崩坏3里面看到不一样的东西，这个。
Oh, so we're responsible for this too. So they were saying, in the process of trying to develop this, and stumbling, but also like being successful in some parts of the design, they realized that feedback or like players were giving comments on how they felt they were seeing things that were fresh, and we can get new experiences, and like we're seeing different cutscenes and stuff from the story, and that was a huge encouragement to the team to continue to develop what they have developed so far.
比较静默的感觉，你听见风声，然后他往前走。但是那个演出组的同学他在去做就是我们第2周 BOSS 战那个横版的设计的时候，他突然觉得这个音乐我是不是可以给前面这个地方用？好像比风声更酷。你想一个童谣，他作为那个反派那个感觉。
So they had so they did a lot of changes, like how even down to the BGM, where they plan to play a BGM to like open a scene, but as they let the testers play, they decided that this BGM should be like the one that was used for the middle was better used for like the opening of the scene to make it even cooler.
那说到这儿，范川老师
，and so yeah, a lot of like
有这么好的技术了，然后咱们有了这么新的
work has gone into revamping how the story is being told, and even from like cutscene into animated short.
范川老师。会的吧？
From like story experience into cutscene into animated short.
建立了一个工作管线，那我们肯定是说我们有一个很长期的目标的，我们那个
They have a really long-term
或者说我们每3-4个版本要做多少那个级别的演出，把我们的角色烘托到什么样的水平？其实这个都是有一些很长期的规划。
They need some kind of like big event and give the characters some kind of growth, and this is always like a really long-term goal.
积累第2部的东西了。
And so even as of now, they're already having or adding more of a part 2.
一个包袱接一个包袱的，这回怎么一下子步子跨这么大？直接啊，怎么第二部的东西都出来了？
哎，
开了第2部的头，今天就别想走。
总要留下点什么，对吧？
真要给点料还为时尚早，但是我确实可以讲一些就是偏纲领性的东西吧。就是我们第2部的内容，那么其实是会在我们再下一个版本，也就是周年庆的时候会做一个整体的爆料。那么在这之前，我可以给大家说，就是我们整个第2部它将会是一个
He said around the New Year
全新
update
的故事，
is
这意味着
2.0.
它有全新的主角团队。全新的故事发生的场所，全新的敌人，但这个
So new
并不
enemies,
代表说它
new
完全
main
是一个
character
独立的故事。
teams
实际上就是，可能大家在好几年以后会发现，哎，我们第2部的故事，我们后崩坏书的故事，我们第1部里面留下的一些伏笔。它最终会在某个节点汇聚起来，去
画了这么
解答某个谜题。
So
怎么
stories,
说呢？就是
so some of the main story
从
points in
IP
APHO
的
and
角
in
度来说，
2.0
其实
will
我们一
actually
直都得做一些
players
非
might
常
notice
常
it
见的规划。
years
我
from
们
after
比
it's
方说我们
released
去给一个故
that
事开一
it's
个题，
actually
我们其
building
实
up
就得想，
towards
你
a
开这个题，你
main
怎么样能把它提到，
story
对
arc.
吧？就好像说我们，其实这个话题纪录片里也谈过，就是我们在崩坏3刚开服的时候，我们不可能像最后那样，就是把整个结局想得非常清楚，但是就是凯亚娜在月球上这个点，其实那个时候就已经直下来，包括就是崩坏3那个刚上线，然后我来那个公司里应聘，然后我们的那个大卫老师那个面试我，聊着就一拍大腿跟你说，你知道吗？我那个过了几年，我们要把我们这个主角凯亚娜的那个送到月球上去。我印象极其深刻，因为就是说说实话，我
So they were told really early
会这么讲的。
when they spoke to Brother Wave that like he was already like, do you guys know? Eventually we're gonna send this main character Kiana up to the moon.
然后
So they're like, what? You guys were told that early?
提到的舰长线的东西，对吧？那么在那个
And so in some sense they've been given some kind of end goal, which will start to unfold from 2.0, but might not be as obvious. Like it wasn't obvious for Kiana getting onto the moon as Honkai Impact 3 started. So it's going to be like a step-by-step long-term
帆船老师，
goal
你这对于第2
for
部的
them.
这个爆料，就你这爆了一个料，然后放了一堆卫星起来啊，真的是。
听完我更加迷惑了。
你还记得那个嘉年华上最后那一行谁都看不懂的字吗？
啊，你看现在弹幕上满满飘着全是问号。
就是的，
那个其实就是我们给第2部的某个文明设计的一套语言。大家到时候会明白它是什么意思。
反正我看到这个弹幕上，
so they said there was a part in the story where there were a bunch of words that could not be, that are not like that you can't read. That was actually an entire language that they made for a civilization that will appear in part 2. So it's like, it's, you know, I guess if you learn that language, you can go back and read what's on the walls. That's insane. I think I don't know which wall he was talking about, but my guess it would be the wall in Elysium Everlasting. Yeah, they made an entire language, which will show itself in part 2 because it's made for a civilization that will only come out in the story in part 2. And so I guess once we learn that, we can go back and read what's on the walls. That is so crazy. Yeah, it might be the moon arc walls. I don't know. The first wall that came up to me was like, he said some kind of like king's wall is what I heard, but I don't know. Yeah, so that's pretty much the stream. That was really interesting. I do like that the battle designer was there because, and we just had this conversation, right? We just had this conversation about how Honkai, some people feel like Honkai is a battle, a story-driven game, and like how I was saying, you know, in some sense, it kind of is more, is also like the only one of like the few of the Horrorverse properties right now that's like also more of a battle-driven, like gameplay-driven game. So I guess to me, it has the best of both worlds. where was I going with this? Oh yeah, and so so the battle designer being the one that was here as the special guest was really a treat for at least someone like me. Yeah, and I hope you guys enjoyed whatever it is that they brought to us. I'm glad that they gave us like at least a bit of a peek at what maybe to expect from 2.0. I do appreciate that whenever they do that, it's very cool. Yeah, and I am looking forward to Sirin. Okay, to be honest, I am looking forward to PROMARE as well. Some people might not, and I totally understand why, because it's 2 B-chip costumes and 1, forgive me for saying this, but useless free stigmata, which probably we will just have in our inventory and never even go in to click on the art. But it is what it is. I, for one, am a person who buys all the costumes, and so, you know, someone like me would definitely be hyped about it, but I understand for most players that it really isn't what we expected. And I do agree. We should get at least one of them free. That is totally reasonable. Or maybe even make a third one that's free and has no effects. I feel like that's fair. Give players some kind of like participation, you know, something that's really nice from the from participating in the event. And even that we don't really have, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. You know, we still have Sirin to be excited about, and thankfully she is not super P2W, I guess is the word to be using. Participation validation, kinda, yeah. So Mihoyo just gonna advertise PROMARE. This collab just puzzles me so much. I do not understand it on any level. Like, to the point where, you know, that PROMARE collab PV with Honkai was designed and created totally by the Honkai Impact staff. I'm just like, what is PROMARE's contribution or deal in this collab? I just am puzzled. I have no idea. But, you know, it's to me, I just see the costumes as cool costumes. I don't see any kind of like relation with the anime just because I've never watched it. Maybe after I watch it, I'll feel more about it. I don't know, but I'm still gonna get them anyway. As PROMARE is a Trigger IP. Possible HI3 anime made by Trigger? Oh! Wait, what? That would be so sick. Maybe a 2E anime soon? 02? Wait a minute. If that's the... Oh! Wait, you guys are geniuses. What if, right? Oh, maybe that's the goal. That's the end goal. To kind of like... It's like a... Oh, it's like a goodwill gesture, like, hey guys, we're gonna promote PROMARE, like, can you guys animate our anime? It is wild assumptions, but I just don't see any kind of logic to this collab. That would be the best, you know, that would be the best outcome, I guess, that you're trying to, like, you know, make a Honkai anime. I don't know, like, yeah, it is really copium. I don't see... Even up to like the dev stream, it was rumored, some people thought that we were not going to have like a story collab. Thankfully, they kind of did say that, because that's where we're going to get the PROMARE exclusive, quote-unquote exclusive stig. And I guess that would mean that we're going to have like an event collab, and that would mean that it would be PROMARE. That's the only thing that kind of makes sense. I don't know. But A1 Pictures sold should be a better studio. Oh no. Hey guys, it's not confirmed, okay? We don't know anything. We don't know if they're making a new anime or anything like that. We're just speculating, because no one... I can't make sense of why they chose PROMARE instead of, like... I believe there could be multiple other options, and they probably had their reasons for choosing PROMARE. The stig is from Bingo? No, the stig is from... they said it's an event reward, is what they said. So there's going to be the story reward, which is going to be a Bronya stig, and there's going to be the PROMARE stig, which is going to be an event reward. Bingo is what people were thinking some the silver wing costume would be, but I didn't really get the details on that one. They just said like, oh, it's due to player feedback that we decided to create this costume and actually make it playable. That's basically it. I don't think they told us like how it's gonna. Maybe some players would know how we're getting it, but yeah. Copium train all aboard. No. Premiere has lots of mechs. That's what they were saying, right? They were saying like the front runner, the first person that came to mind that they thought would do the collab costume would be Vilvi, but they thought that turning her ulti robot into the PROMARE robot would be a bit too overwhelming and maybe like a bit too much in the face of players. I don't really get it. I don't believe I've seen a PROMARE robot because I haven't watched the anime. Maybe you guys would understand what they're saying, but eventually they decided to go with Flamescion, which I personally have seen a bit of PROMARE style, and I do think it is a really good choice. At least as a standalone costume, the Flamescion costume does look good. I have no comments on like, does it look good in the sense of, from the point of view of a PROMARE viewer, because I'm not, but as a standalone, like, oh, hey, random, like, Flamescion costume, it looks good, in my opinion. And so, for that reason, I'll be getting it. Hyperion Lambda's costume looks really good. Definitely makes her look like a 5-star instead of 4-star. What am I saying? 5-star? 8. My god, I might have said that during the stream. Definitely makes her look like an S rank instead of an A rank. Oh god, I for sure said 5-star instead of 4-star. God damn it. Anyway, I think thematically, PROMARE fits perfectly for HI3, to be honest. Oh. Delta fit more. Aichan wearing the Burning Rescue uniform is so good. Oh, she actually looks fire. No pun intended, but also pun intended. I'm not familiar with Studio Trigger, so probably their animation may be good. So when it comes to PROMARE, I've heard of a lot of mixed reviews. Some people, like, there have been many anime that I ask on stream, and people always say it's good. Like, I was like, hey guys, I've heard this song from Hiroyuki Sawano, and I think it's really great. I want to watch the anime Kingdom. And they're like, oh, Kingdom's great. Go watch Kingdom. It's life-changing. It's the best. And then there's like other anime where I'm like, guys, you watch this anime? Is it good? And they're like, oh, it's the best. It's the best. Like, Bocchi the Rock, it's the best. Spy X Family is the best. And then I'm like, guys, have you watched PROMARE? And that's where it's like really half and half. Some people are like, oh, it's crap, it's not good. Some people are like, oh, I watched PROMARE, it's great, I love it. Some people are like, and I look for reviews online. Some people say it's like an assault on your eyes because of all the colors everywhere and stuff like that. And I don't know, but from those like assault on your eyes comments, I see that in the Flamescion costume, and I'm like, I think she fits into PROMARE really well. Like, this costume is definitely a PROMARE style, I guess. So PROMARE, what is that? It had a movie, by the way. It had a movie. It's not just an anime. I think it had a movie, and I think the movie is where I'm getting all the comments from when I search about it on the internet. So it is just wild. It is the funniest thing ever. PROMARE only has a movie. What? It's just a movie. Oh my god, I have been scammed by myself. Oh, so that's what it is. It's just one movie. Oh my god, I might have told people that it's an anime. I mean, okay, to be fair, I've been saying that it's an anime, which, even though it's just a movie, is still the truth. So I have not misled anyone. But what I just said, that's not true, because I keep thinking that's a series and they made a movie, but it's just a movie. It's an anime movie. Okay, that makes it a lot more enticing for me to go watch. I do want to watch it now. Stream ended? Yeah. We're just like, this is like kind of like the post stream, and then we're gonna end pretty soon. We're just kind of like having a post stream discussion because today's stream was really great. They gave a lot of like experiences from the design team, battle design team, and it's really like one hurdle after another. You know, you solve this problem, it brings you new problems. You solve the next problem, it brings you more problems, which is, you know, it just shows us how hard the Honkai team works. But then also they talked about the PROMARE collab, yeah. So TLDR 1.5 is in the second half. Next Chapter 40 will be Fuhua Impact. They have this Fuhua game mode where you can run around, search for clues. There is a scanning mode and stuff like that, and there are modified moves to the existing Fuhua battlesuits, and it's kind of like unlock as you go along the adventure. So it will be, all 5 Fuhua battlesuits will be in use in that playstyle, and they will be categorizing them by fire, physical, and lightning. And then, it's sort of like, I see it as like a Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs kind of ish story, because they're saying it's Fuhua and the 7 small Vidas. And then from there, we're also getting an event game mode and the continuation and actually the ending of the Captain Verse with the introduction of Sirin's battlesuit, playable in 6.9. And it will be sort of like a clash with all the 3 self-insert characters, like the Ferryman, the Assassin, and I always can't remember the 3rd one. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then we had the design team, the person who designs the fights, the monsters and everything. We had like their head come up and also kind of like give us a lot of insight on how things are done. And then they revealed that 2.0 will be coming out in the New Year's patch, and that there is a whole new language that they created in 2.0. Actually, it's already been created and it's kind of already been used for for this wall in the game, and it's full of text that we can't read, but that language will be revealed later. And after I guess you learn the language, you can go back and read the wall, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, a made-up language. They already made up a PE language back in the and so they've also made a lot of changes to the game engine, so that devices can actually run them a lot more smoothly. And yeah, I think they said like there was this thing that needed so much processing power, but someone found a way to only use 1% of processing power to process all of that. And so they had to go learn all these different ways of like programming, and made the game a lot better and easier on our devices. And yeah, that's pretty much it. They've touched on most of the stuff. They have said that 2.0 and APHO is actually building to this bigger story arc. And oh yeah, and also they said that actually really early in the game, they were already told that, hey, you guys know, we're going to send our main character Kiana to the moon. And that was very early on, and they've always been building towards this part of the story. And so they've also been given what 2.0 and APHO will be building up towards, and we will start to see hints of it when 2.0 releases early next year. Yeah, and they also said Captain Verse is going to have a happy ending. Trust me, bro. They also said 1.5 is going to have a happy ending. Is what the story writer said. IP teacher is what they call him. IP, I guess, like IP manager, just basically mainly managing the entire project. So we'll see. Define happy ending. Oh my god. Who knows? Play to find out. Yeah, but that's the TLDR of basically what happened in the stream. And we're just discussing about whether people are happy or not happy with the PROMARE collab. And it's mostly not. Mostly not. But it is a bit of just a side thing, right? It is a bit of extra, because at the end of the day, we have so much going for us. We have Sirin being the main character of 6.9-ish being the main character. We have Fuhua Impact coming out with Chapter 40. We have 2.0 to look forward to really soon. We have the Captain Verse coming to an end, which is something I never even thought we would see that soon. And I'm very interested to see that. And yeah, I think we have gone on to copyright. Wait, this is a Hoyoverse track? Okay, fine, we can let it play. It is from Genshin though, but it is what it is. Damn, I thought it was going to be a little longer for Captain Verse. I do think it's kind of crazy that it's ending like right now. Also, should I be playing stuff on screen? I don't. You know what? Maybe we should go into Honkai and like play a little bit. Well, it feels like people still want to chat. And I might as well do some Elysian Realm or something while we chat. I guess I don't know. Yeah. Honestly, sometimes we do the dev streams, and I'm like, you know, I'm okay with like, I feel like it's more, oh, we're talking about this thing that's happening, but we're kind of building up towards something. And surprisingly, I wasn't expecting this out of this dev stream, but it did feel like this dev stream is some sort of like a major milestone, which really just hit me out of nowhere. Because usually with when it's like a milestone like stream, you would feel it because it's like, oh, it's New Year's, or it's a huge Herrscher release like in the past, or you know, stuff like that. And the fact that it's just like a totally random, like out of nowhere, like, hey, here's this totally, you know, it's new character from Captain Verse, you know, sort of like a quote unquote like side story that's been there, and they're like, hey, now it's becoming, you know, we're just like, you know how it is, right? Like these side story characters that become playable, it's usually like kind of inconsequential. It's just like, oh, a little bit on the side kind of deal. Oh, what up? Hey, what up, guys? You guys are in the same bracket? Oh my god. But yeah, it is surprising. There's just so much stuff happening in this one update that really is a huge surprise to me, and I'm all for it. Yeah. Oh, Fen is in the call. Hello, Fenrisk.
Hello.
Yeah, so it's a good timing that you're here. Also, just wait, hang on. I think now I'm playing copyright songs. Wait, it is. No, it is. Yeah, it says. Oh my god, it's from a different game. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me put this. And let me. Okay, good. We're good. All right. Yeah, so Fenrisk is here. Usually I end the streams, the dev streams, like right after the stream ends, so it's like a concise video, but apparently many people want to still chat about, you know, what's going to go on in the upcoming update, and so I just gave everyone like a TLDR of what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so any thoughts on your end, Fen?
I have not been hopping on the beta test. I was going to hop on the 6.9 beta test later and check out the battlesuit and look at all the stigmata. I guess just a reminder for all the captains, make sure you're farming your ether fuel, do your tactical trainings, you know, pay attention to not letting your mirage passes cap every week so that you can farm, and hopefully on your way to the weapon you get like 1 or 2 pieces so that you save the farm time.
Yeah, I'm going to have to try to update it if I want to go in, so that's going to take a while.
I am excited to see that planned conclusion with the different captain versus captains.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere, to be honest. I did not expect like the conclusion, that suit. I always thought it's gonna be like, oh, we're just gonna let this play out and we're always gonna have the captain verse come in and out of it. It's gonna be a bit of a weird feeling knowing that it's ending. And yeah,
I do hope though that they would make a complete like event archive, kind of like Chronicles, but it'll be annoying for mobile only players, but maybe they could incorporate, along with like, you know, the 2.0 update or whatever, they could incorporate like better data management where you can uninstall certain Chronicles pack, because you know, like they have that for like the language pack, right?
Yeah,
for both all the new games and whatnot. So like, you know, if you need to save storage space, you can unload some of the Chronicle stages that you're not actively farming or not actively playing, and that way they could have the entirety of Captain Verse as a additional download pack.
That reminds me of APHO. Remember when they first marketed APHO, they said it's a DLC, which was kind of interesting. I was like, DLC? What the heck does that mean?
Then it just became a permanent game feature.
And yeah, so that definitely sounds like, oh, but this is DLC content. Like, here we go.
But you know, like, because what was it like Genshin and Star Rail both have really good data management for the additional language packs. So like, if you wanted to play the game in in Chinese or Korean or Japanese, you could just install the packs, and then when you don't want like a particular language pack to save space, you can just uninstall that language pack and it doesn't affect the rest of your game, you know?
Yeah, I see that.
So if they could somehow compartmentalize that for Honkai Third, because there's you know, the game's kind of bloated. I hear that a lot nowadays, like, oh, I need to uninstall Honkai Third so I can reinstall Genshin, or I need to uninstall, you know, Genshin and Honkai Third so I can play Star Rail, and it, you know, it goes back and forth. It's just like, at some, like, I understand that's a reasonable concern for mobile only players with storage limitation.
Yeah, I see that, but it is also really interesting to see how they managed to lower the like processing requirements for the game.
I hope so.
That is, no, they said they already did it, but like part of like what the battle designer talked about was how they tried to design the was that bullet hell for the auto boss fight. And they said initially they're just like telling they told our team, just design one bullet and we're just gonna make this into thousands of bullets.
And then the system couldn't handle it.
And
yeah,
like, okay,
and they're figure out a way to spawn as the other ones despawn.
So someone found a way to just make it use 1% of what the system would actually require them to use, and so they kind of like changed the way they did stuff. And then they said it even came to a point where my game's a little loud, where they gathered multiple people from other departments, and then they said, okay, this is what battle team wants to do. Battle design wants to lower the requirements of the devices so that they, you know, to run the game more smoothly. And so everyone came together and were like, okay, how about we do this? And that was also the basis of the 2.0 overhaul.
I hope they fix like some really long-standing issues, like the memory leaks and everything. I don't know how much you still encounter that in your recent gameplay, but I remember certain fights where like if you restart too much, you notice the performance drop so heavily.
I do, but I feel like I have more rounds, if that makes sense. Like in the past, it felt like maybe like we'll say 20 rounds, but now it's like
and
maybe
then you have to restart.
Yeah, I realize like now at like 60 rounds, I'm still like, okay, I'm still restarting, which is not great because I'm still not getting my score, but it's great because I'm not feeling that. So, you know.
Yeah.
Is it true that Captain Versus ending in 6.9? Yes, it is. That is what they told us. I don't know. I'm excited. I think having a conclusion is great. I want to see what they have in store for us. And they did say it's going to be a clash of the 3 playable characters. Playable, not
faction wars with it.
I feel like it sounds like they're saying faction wars, but they didn't explicitly say faction wars. Not playable characters. The 3 self-insert characters, I guess, is a better way to describe that.
The 3 captain representative.
It almost feels like what he was saying was like, oh, these characters are going to realize their differences and sort of like lament their like what could have been, you know? It almost felt like that's what he was trying to say. Like, oh, Herrscher is going to meet this other Bronya and she's going to realize, you know, that her life could have been this way or that way. And I'm like, and you're telling us it's a happy ending. Okay, we believe you. Sure.
that's I remember that in the stream. He was like, I keep telling you, it's going to be a happy ending. You guys don't believe me.
Yeah, and he was like, trust me, bro, trust me, guys. And all the other 3 were like, no. We're not having it. I'm kind of happy about the conclusion. It's better to give some... Yeah, I do agree. I agree with that. I do think, like, at some point, they should just be like, yeah, we've run the storyline, and this is what we wanted to build up to. I wonder if there's going to be some kind of, like, big revelation. You know all the points of people saying, oh, Rita in the Captain Verse is actually our Rita, but she got somehow sucked into the bubble universe, and she picked a side. All that kind of stuff. I really want to see if that comes true, or like how they play into that, because as we know, the Honkai team does listen to a lot of, like, how we're getting the Silver Wing costume is due to a lot of player feedback, them looking at the Sigmata art and being like, oh, this would be cool, and that's how they...
That was really funny. He was like, well, what websites have you been looking at?
Yeah. He's like, I'm not gonna reveal what websites you looked at, but the battle designer, man, this is the first time we've seen him, but I like him so much. You know, like when they're revealing the Silver Wing figure, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna do some big reveals, there's gonna be some big, and he's like, oh, where's big? What big where? They're just like, oh my god, this guy.
This guy. Yeah.
But yeah, he was a really fun addition to the team, to the cast, or, you know, the hosts, I guess. And all the points that he brought up, it's really a lot of hard work. I've always appreciated the battle team. Like, and we also have this discussion, I had this discussion before stream even started with the chat, of how some people were saying, you know, because the recent story, people have been complaining about that issue with the dialogue just dragging on, how something could have been concise, and it's just...
I felt it so much in part 1. Have you caught up on current story?
I'm close.
Close. Okay, I haven't played part 3, but I was lurking a little bit in Hikari's stream, and she was playing part 3 while the dev stream was going on, so I caught bits and pieces. But I had so much, like, mixed feelings about part 1, where, like, I wish there was a little bit more fighting and I wish there was, like, more natural breaks. Because, you know, like, in the older chapters, the way the parts are distributed, like, and even with the older, like, non-seamless stages, you felt like you could actually step away from the game at natural points, or when you felt like you needed to go do something without needing to, like, Alt F4 or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I get that. I do feel that too. That is a bit of a weird addition.
With part 1, I felt like every 5 stages they could have just, like, taken you back to the menu so that you could have a moment of, like, a breather and be like, okay, I want to keep going, or I can finish the rest of the battle.
Yeah, I do feel that. But it's kind of like you have to find it in you to just be like, okay, I'm done here for now.
Yeah.
But then I think some people are also talking about, like, the writing being how, I think in the recent chapters, people are saying it's hair being like, oh, you could have said this in 1 or 2 lines, but you chose to drag it out and be, you know, like, instead of like, oh, I'm going to go to my car and drive to Walmart or something. She's like, oh, yeah, I decided this morning when I woke up, I saw my keys on the table, but I decided not to take them because I wanted to go brush my teeth, and then you know, I had breakfast, and then I decided like, you know, take my keys, brought my keys to my car, and it was like, oh, so the whole point was you going to Walmart, and it's like, why not just tell us that? That was all we needed to know, you know? And yeah, and so we're also talking about that kind of changes. I feel, yeah, it's just, for me, it does affect me a little bit, but I just complain about it while I'm doing it, I guess.
Yeah, I still think, like, at least we have the chat history, and we have the skip button.
Yeah, and
you know?
the, like, dialogue in Honkai Impact is so much faster than, say, Genshin or Sario. We can actually, you know, we click it once and they show you all the text, and then it just, like, skips super quickly. And so for the most part, I don't think it affects me that badly, I would say. But yeah, I don't remember why that was a point. I think it's because they were talking about how they're finding different ways to tell the story. And because they were saying, you know, despite sometimes them stumbling on finding a new way, what really encouraged them to push forward is players actually saying, like, oh, you know, we're getting a new experience, we're seeing something fresh, and they're really enjoying it, and that encourages the team to push forward. Which is a really
I
cool
do
point.
appreciate that, where, like, every chapter it is something a little bit different, even if it's not necessarily the way that I want it.
Yeah. I agree.
You know?
They say Sanguine Knights is depressing. I haven't reached that event. I think it was on 2017. Sanguine Knights, was that the Terracula
Sanguine Knights
one?
was the original, the original Terracula one, where, like, I think the Himiko in that setting dies.
Oh, was that Kriegsmesser?
Yeah, Kriegmesser gets killed, and I think Sundenjäger also has like a bad ending.
Yeah. Oh no. I love
because I remember I
so
went back
much.
and I looked up somebody's like recording of it. So what was it? Goes like Sanguine Knights, and then there's like another one, right? There's like the Alice in Wonderland where it starts out where she's like campus detective.
Oh.
Sanguine Knights, campus detective Teresa.
Oh yeah.
Was
Every
it after
Himiko
that
dies?
one?
No, not yet, at least.
No, Sanka Saga Himiko survived. She said, "I'll never forget this." Because
Wait, did she? Oh yeah.
This comes up every time, like talking about like Honkai fanships and everything. Like Himehua, right? This is like an old year 1 ship of Himiko and Fuhua, but in Sanka Saga, Himiko's like this merchant who's like longtime buddies with Fuhua, but Fuhua is just like she wants to move on with her life. And I never forget at the end of like 2019, version 3.6, like I'm a newbie captain, I'm playing, and Himiko just this one line of dialogue. She's just like, "I can't live without Master Fu's key fists." I said, "What? What'd you just say?"
Whoopsie.
Yeah, but that Himiko didn't die. Honkai Kingdoms, Fuhua and Himiko had a pretty bad ending in one of the loops, but that one had like multiple loops.
Yeah.
That one they kind of forced you to do multiple loops.
Fen sounds like he has a list of every alive Himiko. Yeah. The sad thing is, I don't think that's many. I don't think there's that many.
There's not that many.
I think you need a list of how many have died as a more. Oof.
I saw one Himiko fan art on one of the social media sites where it was like, Gun Girl Z Himiko's gone, previous era Himiko, Honkai 3rd Himiko, all gone.
Oh no. Oh god. Yeah, I mean, and I feel like recently I've been seeing people say like, oh, they think like Stario's Himiko is gonna die someday. I'm like, stop guys, stop. That's so sad.
Stop, yeah, no.
Oh my god.
I do regret that like the Gun Girl Z Himiko and the World Zero storyline Gun Girl Z Himiko had such cool designs.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels like such a waste of a cool design.
But the thing about the Gun Girls stuff is that they did sort of like redesign. They brought some of the core concepts of the designs there over into Honkai Impact, is what I was realizing. And so I feel
I feel like the base outfit they did for Himiko, but not some of the alternative versions.
Wait till Stario Chapter 9.
Yes, Stario 1.9. Let's find out.
Oh
Stario
my god.
1.9. Let's find out.
Oh, you know, they could make a big one. They could make that they design a new Stario and then this Himiko is the only one left on the train and it blows up. Or they could make like Himiko saves everyone and she's still on the planet and the planet blows up. Like, you know, it could be one of Sorry, I'm giving them ideas. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I honestly, in my honest opinion, I don't think that Himiko in Stario will die. That was what.
Yeah,
like,
I think she's too main character
Yeah.
to die this time around.
But Murata Himiko was a main character. Okay, I'll stop there.
That's true. That's true.
Oh. Instead, Velt dies. I think Velt dying will be really, really sad because the thing about Velt is like we're kind of expecting that he gets in contact with the Honkai Impact world again, and like
he goes home, right?
Yeah,
or he brings characters from Honkai 3rd forward.
Yeah, and the implication of him dying in Stario will be such a sad thing because it'd be like, yes, eventually they probably would come in contact, but it'd be something like Herrscher or Himiko like talking to them and be like, oh, he was a great guy, but you know, like he was a great comrade to us as well, and like, you know, them handing over like his stuff to them, it will be so extremely sad. Which now that I think about it, they might actually try to do, and oh god. but we'll see. We'll see. Honestly, I think Stario and like Genshin, they're more vanilla, so they probably won't go that route. But we never know.
I'm surprised. No, they covered some hard topics. Like they've dealt with like pretty serious character deaths and stuff. Because remember how? Oh,
I mean,
mind.
also like right off the bat, you know, there's people dying in the first world, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
actually.
There's people who died in the first world, and I remember even the CBT1 versions of some of the quests, they tried to go like extra dark, and I remember putting in my feedback back then was like, yo, this quest is like unnecessarily dark. Like, it doesn't need to be this dark.
Uh-oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, I am totally forgetting my rotations here. Okay, I'm just gonna give this a shot. I really know what I'm doing in this fight. Okay, wrong weapon. Yeah, but what are your thoughts on the PROMARE collab?
I think it's fine. I honestly, one of the things I was telling my chat while we were listening to you is like, you know, it's great for the people who are fans of both IPs.
Mm-hmm.
For the fans of Honkai Third that never seen PROMARE, or they only like it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's an easy skip. And then for the people who are collectors like you know, it's an easy pickup. And I actually think I like these outfits more than the trio swimsuit.
Yeah,
I ended up
really
skipping
cool.
the trio swimsuit, and I'll probably buy these.
Oh, wow. Yeah, but yeah, they look really, really good.
Collab with no free outfit is a big no, but you got to think, like, at the end of the day, the whole point of the collabs was to make money, and that was one of the downsides of Evangelion collab, where
no money was
kind
made.
Yeah, it was a financial flop, even though they put in
indeed.
so much effort. You know, it was a great collab, but with what result?
I
so
do
this
think
time,
that was a lack of communication, like internally.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That, but also like, well, we're gonna release a collab character right before a Herrscher release. I wonder, right between two popular S rank releases, what could go wrong?
Right.
What could go wrong? You know. So
Yeah.
internal miscommunication, poor long-term planning, for sure. But I feel like this time around, it might have been a reaction to that last collab where they were just kind of like, well, let's play it more safe.
I can see that, yeah.
And, you know, like, with the Genshin crossover, at least that was in-house, right? So, like, they didn't really have to worry about it so much for an in-house crossover. But, this, you know, when licenses are involved, there's a lot more at stake, especially with the other party.
Yeah. I mean, some people are just saying, you know, maybe it's like a collab thing for like a future, like more of like in future they're looking to get something else out of it, which is like maybe they want to do an anime and
no,
then
7.0 will be the SCACN anniversary. 6.9 is your rest patch right now. Or yeah, 6.9 will be your rest patch. Sirin and the collab. And this is the thing, like, if you're a free-to-play low-budget player, you just skip the collab if you don't care about PROMARE. And that's your rest patch.
yeah, I do think
You
so.
know, like, if you get the weapon for Sirin if you are semi-competitive or higher. And then if you're not, then you just farm, you know, maybe you already have Piranha, and you just use Piranha and you just farm your G4s. If you're low budget F2P.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think the designs are great, but I do understand where people are coming from when they're like. Initially, the rumor was that there's even going to be like no story, collab story, which I think from the dev stream they said there will be, because they were like,
I can see them doing like a limited set of stages, and probably not something as involved as Evangelion, where, you know, like Evangelion felt like a whole 3 to 4 parts, and each part felt like it was basically like a whole chapter long size event back then.
And so now I think I don't know. I really I just appreciate the costumes that are incoming, and that's it.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's all
I
I'm
think that's
looking
kind of
forward
where
to.
I'm at too, because I also haven't seen PROMARE. I remember when PROMARE came out, a lot of my art friends were like super excited about it because it's Studio Trigger, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like that's as far as it goes, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Studio Trigger, they have like a really solid reputation. And yeah, I think if it does yield in a Honkai anime, I think that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
You know, maybe UD and Chaotic were right after all. Get that second eruption, you know?
Oh my god. I know. I think with them announcing that Genshin, Genshin possible like anime, which we don't know like when it'll be coming, and it's from Ufotable, the possibilities are there, but I just don't know if that's like the move, like that's the intention behind the PROMARE. It's like, oh, let's collab with PROMARE, so
yeah,
the studio's gonna
it
like
could just
support
be
us.
another like. Yeah, I agree. We could just be reading way too much into it.
Yeah. And I didn't like shoot it down or anything, because I do think like, okay, you know, there's a bit of, I feel like there's more negative than like positive surrounding this collab, so I'm just like, okay, maybe we should have some hope for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for so many things. I did not expect this, like I just mentioned, this update to be this heavy, because it's just like a fun, not even main story character being introduced. And usually when that happens, like even with Carol and stuff like that, who is main story but just really far in the future, it's just like a fun, or even Silver Wing, who's Bronya even, it's just like a really fun, like, here's an addition that doesn't have too much of an impact, just have fun with this patch. It's a rest patch, like you said, and we will get onto the main story bits. But then it was so heavy, like Captain versus ending, 1.5 is in the next half and it's ending soon, and you know 2.0 is coming out, and I'm like, whoa, where's all this coming from? It's so huge. But at the same time, I really appreciate that that's what it was. Oh god, I am doing my skills all wrong. Whew. So yeah, did you watch the entire dev stream?
Yeah, I did. I was malding till the last moment that it started.
Okay.
Because your broadcast had already went live. Like when I tuned in, it was like the 5-minute countdown. I was like, let me get a few more Banera's attempts in.
The typical Honkai gamer, as we should be. Oh, how did I not kill? Interesting. I am super hyped. Okay, first of all, I am hyped for Sirin, which is a good thing because it's coming next patch. I am hyped for the costumes, and I said this like with no relation to PROMARE at all. Just as a costume by itself, I find they look really good.
I think they look amazing.
Yeah, it makes Hyperion Lambda look like an S rank, even though she's like an SP. But what I've been really looking forward to is the 2.0 coming up sometime. And they said 2.0 will be coming out in...
I'm so apprehensive about it.
The New Year
I am
patch?
so apprehensive. Yeah, so it'll be what, Spring Festival next year, right? It'll be
Yeah.
Spring Festival next year.
So
Which
that'll
makes
be
sense.
interesting.
It totally makes sense. You know, like line it up with a spending event, get all the old players come back and pop up, and you know, maybe this year Global will get the lobby again. We got cheated out of the lobby last year. Did you guys have it on SCA? I think you guys did, right? Or this past Spring Festival?
Which lobby?
You know, like the Spring Festival lobby. With
like the one where
feast and
30
stuff.
players can go in and like walk around?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I feel like
did.
You guys. Okay, because Global did not.
Oh no.
Global did not get the lobby this past year.
I do remember we had one
It was
recently.
version Kiana, right? It was version Kiana.
Oh wait, that one I don't think we had either. No.
Oh, you guys didn't get one either?
I know there was this one where I remember the dev stream saying like, "Oh, we're gonna have that lobby," and then we ended up not
Then
having
we didn't.
it. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, C didn't get it either, huh?
Yeah, we didn't get it.
Tough.
Yeah,
So we both
I'm remembering.
we both got cheated out of that.
I'm remembering a previous one, which is yeah. So we all got cheated. Yeah, but I mean, no, I keep saying 2.0, but what I mean is that the implication that comes of it, which is the new engine, is really what I'm looking forward to. I don't think it's gonna change general gameplay too much, like Memorial Arena and stuff like that. But what I think it will change is the story experience and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hope they streamline everything. I hope they make things less burdensome, but without taking away the
and I think it opens up
gameplay.
Avenues for like more gameplay modes.
Yeah, I feel like more gameplay modes is fine, but I don't want them to diminish the core gameplay from story. And that was one of my complaints about like the recent chapters. Like, I don't know about you, but like let's go back to like version Kiana as an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
The entire Kevin fight, I felt like I wanted to do the full combo, and then every time I'm setting up to do the full trio combo, Kevin either goes into the next scripted cutscene, or there's like something else that happens in the combat, so like you don't even get to play the trio as intended.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
like the filler fights don't feel meaningful with like, you know, the trash mobs. Which, like, okay, yeah, I get it. They're trash mobs. They're gonna die fast because it's fodder. But at least you either give more waves so that you actually feel like you're flexing on the trash mobs, and not just have it be small interruptions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like combat's been lacking a bit in the recent chapter.
I do agree. And
I
even
will
though
say
they did, even though they did the, you know, difficulty level, blah, 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 it's still, even the hard mode did not feel that hard. Like the one versus hair, I felt like it was way too easy. And...
So I feel like with that, I think it's high level player bias because we're always sweating in Abyss and MA. So we all have the mechanics kind of memorized. That part I can kind of excuse as far as the difficulty toggles.
Okay.
Because I remember, you know, like the comparison would be, I remember, I think, when, was it Zikadlo or Alicia when they were playing through chapter 25?
Mm-hmm.
It was not that easy going through the Durandal with Kiana, that whole segment. It was not as easy.
Oh, I died once to that, I think.
Yeah, and I even in chapter 39 part 2, when they switched it to the 2D platform section, I skipped one of the tutorials and I died because I couldn't platform fast enough because I skipped one of the tutorials. I didn't know which button to hit.
Oh no. Well,
I did like the main fight though. I did like the main fight in part 2. Did you get the chance to play Final Fantasy 16? I know Zikadla did.
No,
I don't know how much of that.
I sort of like experienced it vicariously through her.
Okay, so you know how like in 16 you had these really long drawn out fights?
I actually was watching you play some of it.
Okay.
Remember I watched you play the Titan fight and I was like, wait, you forgot his arms.
The Titan fight. Oh, the fight was so epic.
Yeah. So I kind of like
the part 2 fight gave me FF16 boss fight vibes in a positive way.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So like, yes, it felt a little long, but it felt appropriately long.
Okay. Yeah, I get that, but I think I still maintain they did a really good job with the auto fight itself. My issue with that fight was my PC kept dying, which was kind of sad. It was my older PC, and yeah, I get the point of like when he did like the chains or something, it was so bad.
Oh yeah, the chains were so bad.
god, 854 again. Oh,
That reminds me, I think like the last 2 CN betas, every time I went into damage check, that stage, if I have the settings turned up, that stage just dumpsters my my stream encoder.
Okay.
And I could not figure out what it was. I just remember, like, I think it was for 6.8 beta. One time I was like, okay, well, what if I turned off all the post-processing and everything? And then it was fine.
And
Turn
then
off
it was
all
fine?
the reflections.
Man.
And then it was fine. I was like, why was this so horribly optimized?
Did you guys see the announcement on Twitter about the offline testing in LA yesterday? I don't know. I did not. I'm catching up with my chat. I'm really curious how different the game will become. Don't really want them to take things away, but add. I think they will add. I think Honkai Impact has a good history with revamps and additions, so I'm not worried about that one. I thought Alicia in chapter 31 was a bit challenging, but I don't know, that's a skill issue. I actually, okay, I died on the first part of the fight before she brought us into the other dimension, but that was because I was confused. I thought it was like it was like a sequence. I thought they had ended the fight. And so I stopped moving, and she smacked me, and I died. I was like, "Wait, what?"
I died once on the. I died once there too. That's the one where you fight as Raiden Mei, right? You're in the.
In like the checkered ground, and then she brings you over where the spirit of ego comes out and fights with her.
the mirror ocean.
I remember someone was surprised when I dodged the wave, and I was like, "That's so Honkai, bro! Like, if you've been playing Honkai for such a long time, you're. I didn't even think when I saw the wave. My brain just reacted.
Yeah,
I was like, that's gonna hit me for sure. Yeah, and I just like it. And people were like, "Whoa, he evaded it." I'm like, "Of course."
Yeah, like at a certain point, you kind of have the hitbox and timings. It becomes muscle memory, which sometimes it works against you when you have bosses like Clock, where they do like. They'll look like they're about to swing and then they pause.
Oh yeah.
And then you actually have to wait. You know, then you actually have to remember, like, oh, hold on.
I like when they do that because they're sort of like installing new timing into you. It doesn't mess with you. Initially, I thought it will mess with you, but eventually, when you get used to it, you sort of like become better. You add this to your inventory, and you're like, you can dodge when it's proper timing, you can dodge when it's weird timing, and you sort of like your mind opens up to more stuff. Fake out hits, yeah, exactly. And I do see people getting frustrated. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like a weird feeling of like, I don't know how to convey this to people where, you know, they're like, oh, it screws with you and you got hit and like that's bad. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's just a new element. You as a player, it basically is a skill issue. Yeah, but
I struggled a bit with that when I was playing Final Fantasy 16 because I was so used to Honkai timings.
I certainly did hear you say that. I think you
I
said
fumbled so many dodges at the start.
Honkai has spoiled you on dodge timings or something like that. I remember.
That was basically it.
I agree and disagree to that because a lot of like my gameplay, my base gameplay actually was built up in Devil May Cry 4 specifically. And so that's why the Ultimate Evasion is such a sort of like a nostalgic thing to me, and I basically played Nero so much better than Dante because Nero has what I call, quote unquote, the panic button. When if you time his devil trigger right, it gives you 1 second of iframe. And so, and Dante doesn't have that. And that's why I'm so bad at Dante, because I don't have that panic button. And so when I saw Honkai, I was like, oh, this Ultimate Evasion thing is so much like what I used to do. And that's where, like, you know, Honkai feels so natural to me. I wouldn't say it kind of... I get where you're coming from, where you say, like, Honkai spoiled you for, like, timing. But I think it's, like, your brain has to load a different skill set and timing when you're playing a different game is what kind of, like, made more sense to me. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm playing this game now. Okay, the timings are this. Oh, I'm playing that game now. Okay, this is how the enemies like act. Yeah, but I agree with you in some sense. But yeah, it's really Honkai. Arguably, Honkai is a bit easier when it comes to dodge timing. They give you a lot more leeway, but I also do remember like my first month, maybe first 3 months playing the game, it didn't seem that way. It almost sometimes felt like it was impossible to dodge. It's like, why did they make a game this way? You know, like it's
You know what the worst part is when it's like certain enemies have really weird hitboxes for dodging. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get it.
Like Jizo arms, where it's like it's really easy to dodge one of the swings, but then
yeah.
like when you go to dodge the other one, like it looks like you're in the hitbox for the dodge, and you dodge, but it doesn't count as an ultimate evasion.
Yeah. Oh my god, I hate that one.
What happened?
Okay, that one I hate. I don't know if it was intentional, but yeah. Oh my god.
I feel like there's like maybe a handful other bosses that have that as well, but that's the one example I remember the most.
Oh, that one is so bad. Not gonna lie, Honkai's combat kind of conditioned me to have better timing overall. Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, okay, Honkai has many cues, by the way. Honkai has a visual cue where they have a purple spark before they attack. With the newer enemies, it kind of varied a little bit, but it basically is the same thing fundamentally. And then they also have an audio cue, which I don't think many people rely on, but that was my biggest... my biggest improvement in Honkai was me catching the audio cues. And I know it can get a little bit hard to follow when you're fighting like so many people and they're all close to you and you're hearing the same visual cue, audio cue multiple times in a short span of time. But once you get used to it, it really doesn't feel that daunting, if that makes sense.
And I do feel like I miss some of the audio cues for some of the new stuff. They don't really do the new stuff having as many cues as they used to.
I think maybe they do, but they've been trying like new... You have to listen for it.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would do both the audio and the blinks again. Because like blinks used to be really common, and then at a certain point they were just like, we're just not going to have blinks, and we're not even going to have ground telegraphs for certain attacks, and you just kind of have to know. Which, like, I get it, because it's catering to the more experienced audience.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think about, like, well, if it's a new player playing for the first time, and they're trying to, you know, not... They're maybe playing the current chapter while still grinding the previous chapters to try to catch up. Like, it's a...
Yeah.
It's a much bigger experience gap, you know?
Yeah, for sure. What am I supposed to do with this one? Yep, me playing the game mute. I actually most of the time play it mute too, to be honest. I'd be like on the call with someone, or I'd be like, even the endgame content, even when I try to get cap scores, I still play it mute just because, yeah, sometimes you just want to, sometimes it's, how do I put it? It's mundane but not mundane at the same time. It's still something new and everything, but you still just want your brain has capacity to play something on the side, I guess is the best way to put it. So I do play it mute too, and that's when the visual cues, I think it's just the experience really that just makes it so natural that we learn how to dodge stuff. I don't know if there's still players who play Honkai and be like, oh my god, this game is so hard. I don't think so. I'm used to that. I even carried it over to Genshin. Oh, Genshin's dodges actually... I wouldn't say it's harder. I'd just say it's something you have to learn again. On that note, I can't wait for Xenoblade Zone Zero. Oh my god.
I'm looking forward to Fontaine.
Oh, that's good. I don't know if I am.
Fontaine is next week, and you know, it's... I can't believe it's finally happening, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I still don't know if I'm gonna return like 4.0. I know like it's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna return to 4.0 because it's gonna be cool and there's. But I think seeing that many new characters and feeling like, oh, do I really want these characters? I feel like pulling for characters is something that has been a bit of something that attracts me back to Genshin, and ever since I stopped pulling, it's been something like, I don't know, you know, like so many characters. What am I gonna want them?
Trying to save for C6 Murata, and they keep introducing all these cool characters in Fontaine. I'm like, no, you are now an obstacle. Poppy has his comments like, I don't know how to dodge in Genshin because I've been using Zhongli since he came out.
Oh my god. True. Oh, I did that one thing when I was fighting, oh my god, I almost said Jizo. What's that guy's name? The one with the 2 swords. Oh crap. Have I not played for that long?
Oh, the Magu Kenki?
Yeah, Magu Kenki, there we go. And, like, you know he has, like, every phase he does that ice explosion?
Yeah,
and
that
people are
really
like,
annoying phase change.
It's gonna get you, and I dodged it for the entire fight. Like,
Yeah,
every time
that dodge timing is really satisfying when you nail it.
And people are like, oh, because, you know, okay, to be fair, I don't think it's aggressive backseating, but, like, I do get people, when I bring a team in and they're just like, your team's not gonna work, you're gonna die, like, this is gonna get you, that's gonna get you. And then they see how it works out, and they realize, like, oh, you know, I knew I could get it from the start. And I was like, yeah, just dodge. Like,
Yeah, just dodge.
What's so hard?
Just dodge, 5 head.
And then they realize, like, oh, that's why, because my team looks not plausible. It's like, it has Ganyu, and they're like, oh, he resists range damage.
Yeah, but you have C6 Ganyu.
Exactly. And they're like, oh, he resists range damage, and I just shoot him point blank, and they see the HP bar moving, and they're like, oh, I see. When the player with skill issue backseating. I mean, you know, recently, and I know this is like off topic from like Honkai and Genshin. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but like recently I have realized that I have grown in that aspect. In the past, I've been a lot more aggressive when people backseat and everything. Now I've been more understanding. I'm like, okay, maybe this person is coming from this perspective, you know? And like, I'm less reactive to it. And I'm more like...
I just start ignoring people when they start backseating and I'm not in the mood to entertain it.
That's true. That's one way. And that's a good, better way than what I used to do. And I think it's a bit of like Kozla's personality, like rubbing off of me, of like how she'll be like, oh, you know, even though it's like the most backseaty thing in the world, she'll just be like, try to include the person and be like, oh, you know, like, that, maybe I'll try that. And to me, I'm like, there's no harm in saying that. I could say that to the person and never try it, but I don't sound aggressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could be like, yeah, you have a good point there, and just like ignore it for the rest of the time. But it's like how you ignore it also, you know, puts changes the mood of the stream. And so, like, I feel like I credit this to, like, being, you know, having done Honkai and Genshin content. I feel like it's made me grow as a person, and it's just, like, I recently came to that realization. And I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, a little off topic, but since we were talking about backseating, I feel like, you know, a little something that playing Honkai has helped me with. I also remember the meme from a year ago when people were saying, imagine having Husk in Genshin, or I think if they do have these bosses, they'll just balance them for the game, so I don't really think it's going to be a big deal. Because they are essentially different games. Their fundamentals are different, and so they have to be balanced to be playable in that game. So, you know, if they have it, it's just like a cool Easter egg, but it's not going to be... You know, people think like, oh, this is gonna screw Genshin players over. It's not gonna be like that. It's not a game-ending thing. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna deafen for a bit. I think my stream, as much as I have enjoyed it, I should wrap up a little bit here. So I'm gonna deafen, but I'll still be on call after it. So yeah, if you guys want to hang out, you can go to Fen's stream. I'll put the link. But for now, we are going to end this here. Yeah, and I'll see you shortly. Fen. Okay, I've deafened. Yeah, so thank you guys for hanging out. This has been a lot of fun. As I said, with this stream, it seems like they have given us a lot more than I thought we would be getting, which is really interesting. And I'll be hanging out with Fen just for a little bit more. If you guys want to join us, you can go over to Fen's stream. I will pin it up here. You guys can head over. Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. Good energy. I thank you for giving me all your points on like PROMARE and what you thought about the update. And it was nice. It was nice hearing, you know, what people say. And I definitely get very focused on what I have to do, which is translate during the streams, but I still read what you guys say, and it's very you guys are great. You know, not toxic or anything, and yeah, I appreciate hanging out with you guys. I did not expect to hang out after stream, but it has been a really fun post-stream session. And yeah, have a good rest of the day ahead of you guys. And if you guys want to hang out, go over to Fenstream, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.